Hello, Miguda, habari ya jioni.
Niko salama kakangu. Niko swadaka. Hali yako vipi?
Mi kwema, sijaona mabaya. Naona niko vizuri. Unanipa
vizuri.
Unajua mara mingi kuna vitu ambazo tumezungumzia hapa, tuseme kwamba unapata kwamba kuna vitu ambazo labda viongozi wanafanya ama wanatekeleza ambapo inakaa ni ya uhuni, unaona, na kwa lugha mzuri naweza itafsiri kama uhuni katika siasa zetu. Jana nilikuwa tu kwa ile pilka ya kujua kwa nini ilitokea, habari ni vipi. Nikapata bunge fulani ambaye anaitwa Nimrod Mbai. Huyu bwana anatoka kule maeneo ya Kitui East, na kule kulikuwa na mkutano wa siasa, na kulikuwa na wakilishi wodi, mwanamke wakilishi wodi, ni kama alikuwa ameongelea Kalonzo Musyoka na labda hakufurahishwa nayo. Tukaona kwamba kuna mavijana ambao walikuwa nao au vijana ambao walikuwa nao wakavamia ule mama. Unaona, pale ikachacha mambo, ikakuwa na mambo ya vurugu. Na kwa wale ambao, kwa wajibu ambao watu walikuwa kwa ground, wanasema kwamba wale vijana walimvamia yule mama ni kama ni wafuasi wake, ni kama walinzi wake ambao wa mtaa. Hapa ndio maana nakuuliza, uongozi inaonyeshwa kwa kibabe sana sana, tena ni mwanamke ambaye ni wakilishi wodi. Wewe kwa hapo unasema vipi?
Walikuwa sijakupata vizuri, labda kuna shida na mtandao wako, unaweza angalia
au nisikii hata kidogo?
Na una break kidogo, lakini sijui kama
Hebu acha niangalie nijue shida iko wapi. Bado nipati? Bado unipati?
Nakupata, lakini hebu zungumza. Nakupata kwa,
unanipata kwa umbali? Bado unisikizi? Unanipata? Okay, sawa, asante. Hebu tuangalie labda if you are there on the comment section, just let me know if my internet is very stable or you cannot get me. So just let me know if you're not getting me on the comment section, if I'm not audible. Eric Ayaga, habari gani? Hebu niambie, sauti yangu iko vipi? Unanisikiza ama haunisikizi? Iko sawa? Okay, asante sana, kwa sababu rafiki yangu alikuwa ananiambia kwamba anipati vizuri. Sasa Ayaga, wewe ndio sasa utatupatia jambo, kwa sababu leo asubuhi tuliona mheshimiwa governor wa Siaya James Orengo alienda katika ikulu kuongea na rais. Alikuwa he was among the delegation that went to visit the president at the State House, and you know very well that kule nyuma Orengo had a different view, especially concerning the broad-based government, and even there are some remarks that he made that did not go well with the spirit of broad-based government. But today he went to the State House, and there are so many promises that were made, especially in the State House with this delegation. Just to give you a few, some of the promises that President made, and this is what President made. We will construct 16 markets in Siaya County at a cost of Kenya shillings 2.5 billion and allocate Kenya shillings 1.6 billion in the connection of more than 16,000 households to power to drive entrepreneurship. We will also invest Kenya shillings 1 billion to develop the Usenge Paya and the attendant part infrastructure to stimulate the blue economy in the region. That is the promise that President made to the delegates from Siaya that was led by James Orengo. Miguda, can you get me now? Yes. So what is happening? I just read the promises immediately after the delegates from Siaya, leaders from Siaya met at State House, especially to visit President. Actually, Raphael Tuju, former Jubilee Secretary General, was in State House, and Orengo was there. And that's the promise where President made. Maybe to read it them again, we will construct 16 markets in Siaya County at a cost of 2.5 billion Kenya shillings and allocate Kenya shillings 1.6 billion into the connection of more than 16 households to power, to drive entrepreneurship. We will also invest Kenya shillings 1 billion to develop the Usenge Paya and the attendant port infrastructure to stimulate the blue economy in that region. That is what President William Ruto promised the people of Siaya today in his county. This is what Ayaga said, because Ayaga is from that county. Orengo wrote for this meeting. I know Orengo, he will never submit, but he will manage the ground. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ayaga, for your but alisema kwamba hata SHA is working. Miguda, what can you say?
Thank you. If you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can.
Okay, I can just say the fact that they went to State House to have a one-on-one with Mr. Ruto. They have been yearning for it, never got accepted.
Yeah.
And maybe they can do it because they want to emulate what Homa Bay people did. And because these are their similar things they're being promised, like the Usenge Paya. Yeah, Paya, things like 16 markets. There are some pressing issues, which like we have said before. And maybe someone will be forced to align with the BBG, broad-based government. He has been coerced to align with the thoughts. And I think that is what's happening. We'll ensure that he pleases them because that's what they want him to do. But I don't see whereby they will have a similar impact like what happened in Homa Bay. And I don't understand why that for government to bring service to your county, you must go and beg in State House. We brought in new constitution and the budget making process should happen in Parliament. And why are we going to State House? So if I don't make my way to State House, I'm likely not going to get development in my county. Those are things that we want to know. So they are like that. They want to make someone to be worshipped. That you must plead, you must go to State House, you must submit, you must align for them to bring the fire. So in my view, I think sometimes, though I've not done any practical point of view whereby whether SHA is working or not, because me, I don't operate with SHA. So I don't know how Orengo today they can say SHA is working, but the other day SHA is not working. So SHA is only working when I'm in government, but when I'm not submitting to their thoughts, SHA is not working. So I think there are a lot of dishonest, and we need to discuss those issues.
Okay, so this is what Orengo said. SHA is a good story. That's according, I quote His Excellency James Orengo from Siaya. Under SHA, total claim raised so far is Kenya shillings 281 million, and amount paid is Kenya shillings 180 million in Siaya County. What is pending is only Kenya shillings 101 million. So SHA is a good story. It has also improved our source of revenue quietly, significantly. So that is what Orengo said during the meeting at State House. So that is what Orengo, in terms of talking about the SHA, so that is what he says. So there's that change of tune. And there's something that you've spoke about that is quite much important. And you say that why is it that when you want a development or any development to be carried in your area, yet we have the 2010 constitution that has outlined on how the development should be done. So this is what usually happens. I don't even visiting the state house or even aligning yourself to government or visiting the president for you to get development started with the administration of President William Ruto. That is something that we have to say. This has always been a continuation with every administration that has been in power. You know, each and every person would want to do that. And you know, this one has put it very, very, very difficult, especially for everybody, because like if you cannot access state house, then maybe you cannot get development. That is what it means. Because remember, when Orengo was having a different view, you know, he was castigated, no letter maendeleo and all that. So you know, so that is also something that we have to also to look at in our political atmosphere and say that okay, what if those who cannot access the president, maybe because maybe they have different views concerning the leadership of the presidency, what will happen?
That's what I was trying to drive home, because there are people, maybe they are not aligning to the fact that they want to be psychophants, or they want to
Yeah.
be part of the president worship team. They want to
Mm-hmm.
work for the people, or they are the
Mm-hmm.
leaders who are principality, whereby they believe that they will only align with the people. But some areas you find that you are aligned with the people
Yeah.
and the president is unpopular, or the president is not welcome in those regions.
Mm-hmm.
You have not done anything wrong. So
Yeah.
are they going to make budget based on the allies?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the political games they are playing. And
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in charge, maybe I'm the president, but
Mm-hmm.
now some that the making process should be independent. And
Mm-hmm.
now they are trying to make it look like you are either with me or not. So even if you have no issue with him, or you have no issue with the administration, maybe you are just someone who is working, like people like Muranga governor.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they might not have any issues at personal level, or but because you are not subscribing to the ideals of Mr. President, then you are likely not going to receive some development. That's why I've asked this question. Was it that they have to visit state house for them to have that power, or was it that they have to visit us for them to have those markets? Because I think they are, even things like markets were devolved, they are
Mm-hmm.
functions of the county, and you don't need to go to state house. And the reason why sometimes I just differ. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I try to differ with these people, even
Yeah.
when some of our friends are bitter. It's
Mm-hmm.
because Raila Odinga told us that si lazima uende kwa serikali kupiga magoti ndio upate maendeleo. But
Mm-hmm.
no, people like Orenga are going to kupiga magoti. So I don't understand how these things work, because they are the person who is trying to advocate for the institutions and
Mm-hmm.
independence of those institutions. But they are the same person who is also trying to conflict those institutions. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I have this issue, two issues now. They told us that this institution should be independent, and no one need to go to Mr. President to be given development. Right now, they
Mm-hmm.
also told us that we are a multi-party democracy, and some of them fought to understand that some people died. But now they want to also to confine you to a single party state or a single party region to your region. That's with me. I just have a different opinion. I don't care no matter how people will view me, but I still believe that two things. Number one, we
Mm-hmm.
fought for these things to be in our constitution. We fought
Yeah.
for them to be envisaged. Therefore, they have been enshrined. As for me, I'll work with the constitution. I'll not
Yeah.
work with someone's opinion or someone's interest. Therefore,
Mm-hmm.
I am a believer of multi-party democracy.
Yeah.
I'm also a believer of institutions should be independent and work by themselves. This issue of that I must go to kneel down to president for me to be given development, I don't
Mm-hmm.
subscribe to that one. I believe that they are those institutions should be independent, and they will be work in accordance with the constitution. So that is up to the people of Siaya and Orengo.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is what Mr. Henry Orenge says. Members of Parliament has been compromised, hence diverted from their role. So I think it is bad manners to kneel down to president for development. You know, I agree, but you know what the kind of politics that we've made it, we've normalized it, because you know what is happening. It's not only happening with President William Ruto. You know, when the only person that had a different view, or a different strategy in terms of development and growing economy, or not to call people to the state house, it used to be Kibaki. Because remember, when you are very keen of during Kibaki's tenure, Kibaki is the only president that was very, very few in terms of public appearance. Majority of his time, he was in state house. If you're very keen, when you go through Kibaki's administration, you know. But when you come again and talk about the independence you look at the independence, especially of the arms of government, and what you talk about, you mentioned the Constitution of 2010, the way it has outlined on how, especially the allocation of budgets. You know, when for instance the president said that he's going to allocate 2 point is it 2.5 billion for the construction of the markets, yet you know very well that the markets are under these are some of the things that were devolved, you know, but you are being told that the president is going to do that. So I think this is a way that the way we've made the presidency, or the politics of presidency, to be like, for you to get development you have to reach out to president, because you know, so, and if you cannot reach out to president, or you have different opinion with the president, then it is not going to be done, which I don't think that is not the way it should work. And another thing that also we have to point out, you have to work with the president, yes, but you have to consult, you consult with the president, because he's the head of state, you know, is the head of state, whether you support him or you don't support him, provided that you've gone to an election and the winner is declared, you have to accept the result and say that, okay, he's our president. And also the presidency also has to accept that, okay, I've won the election, so my work is to serve the people of Kenya, those who voted for me and those who did not vote for me. So I think the kind of politics that we are doing, whereby if you don't subscribe, or you don't support, or the idea of like, for the development to come to your area, you have first of all go to the president and talk about allocation of money, or allocation, or doing, you know, what about other counties, you know, what about other counties? So which means, from what has been said, if they did not go to the state house, which means all this that has been mentioned, they could have not gotten those. That is what I would think.
That's what we are trying to point out, because you understand that even the constitution tells us that the parliament should not have the NGCDF. The parliament will be doing legislation, oversight, and representation in accordance with the roles of parliament in the constitution of Kenya. Even go and look at the roles of the president and the functions of the president, there is nowhere in the constitution that states that the president is the one who is going to make the budget. It is not clear. There is nowhere that provides the president to allocate or appropriate resources. That's why we are insisting that we don't need to confuse citizens, and we don't need to ride with the wave of the moment. Let us principle and stick to what is envisaged in the constitution.
Yes.
If we that we should get rid of the NGCDF, which is unconstitutional from members of parliament. Therefore, we should also allow Mr. President to allocate resources to the people, because that is not his roles and functions.
Yeah.
There are quite a lot of roles and functions for Mr. President other than allocating. Allocation and appropriation should happen in Parliament, and that's why they have that role of oversight. And Parliament is independent. And we have why what is the essence of having a chair for budget and appropriation committee in Parliament if Mr. President is now allocating everything? What is the essence of even having that budget committee sitting in Parliament? It's usually sitting to draft budget. What are they doing if we allow Mr. President to allocate everything in each and every county, and particularly is allocating to his allies politically? So I think there is unfairness, and also there is that compromise of institution and capture of the houses. That's why we still insist that we should ensure that institutions work independently, and also we should ensure that there's that separation of powers, checks and balances, which we have in our constitution. At the same time, we should uphold the rule of law, because we are governed by the rule of law. We are not governed by any other thing but the Constitution of the Kenya 2010. In my view, I still believe that there is how people try to operate outside the Constitution. And when you try to operate outside the Constitution, you're going to bring up problems to the citizens. And that's why people do revolt, because you are not in accordance with the rules of law. And when you do so, people will become disobedient. And the role of the people will be always opposition. They will oppose that regime. And you understand, because of the basic rights and fundamental freedoms, people will have basic rights and fundamental freedoms to ensure that they advocate for their rights. So I believe that we should ensure that we remove that allocation from the State House, because it is even practical. They are moving to State House, and we are seeing them in State House when they are saying, okay, we are going to construct Paya, 16 markets, and many other things. How? It should be a budget making process whereby you allow the legislation to legislatures their role, not the president.
And as we know that we have the budget of 2020, 2025, 2026 is just on the way, and the relevant committees are carrying out public participation. And and so like the budget that we have for 2016, 2025, 2016, that's where like the president should allocate, and through executive and is executive, that is to include the presidency and the ministers, the ministerial posts or the ministerial department that are involved. They should come out with what they call the budget, the process of budget making and allocation of these funds. Then that's where now the president can say that, okay, this is what we are going to do. So when they go to the parliament, now we are going to see that such amount has been allocated to infrastructure, in parliament, and this one will be approved by the parliament. Because for instance, if to say that the president for instance is going to say that, okay, we are going to do these 16 markets in a period of 2 years, where is that money coming from? Who has approved it? Because it's not wrong to have development, yes, because if we are saying that we are a country that observe the rule of law, and we have to go with the process of that rule of law, but when sometimes we tend to go outside or work outside the rule of law, then that one also tend to question, and we will have to look it in terms of politics, that maybe these rewards are coming is in a way of as in a way to let you know that there's something that you will give me in return. I'm giving you this. Then what about you're going to give me in return? You're going to vote for me, for instance. So that's how sometimes you might look at it, because like, what about those who are not aligned to you, or those who cannot come to State House? What will happen to them? Will they get those allocations? But something that also we have to agree that the issue of the presidency, especially the visit of State House, I don't think it started with the administration of President William Ruto. No, this is something that has been normalized, and we've idealized it, and say that we have to be close to the presidency or the administration that is in power for me to get those developments. So we don't know whether, even if people go for election and a new administration came in, they can decide to continue with the same process or the same path, because that is a norm that has been created. So that is what I think. What is Patrick? Let me see what Patrick Mushere is saying. Oh, may God rescue from Ruto Broad-Based. Okay. Thank you so much, Patrick. I hope you are doing fine. We're just still discussing. I was talking about a member of parliament, especially that I was talking in Kiswahili, nilisei uhuni katika siasa, ambapo unapata kiongozi fulani akona wale mavijana ambao wanatembea nao. Jana tulizungumzia hayo na leo pia tutazungumzia, kwa sababu niliona pale kituo, nadhani ni is in Kitui, that there was a leader who was talking about Kalonzo Musyoka. Maybe that base was not a Kalonzo Musyoka base or that area, but she was a lady, and if you saw how these young men went to this lady, and just only for speaking about that, and it still tell you our mentality, especially our leaders together with the people. Sometimes we usually blame the leaders, but also now people are involved, because how comes that a leader can just have these young men and they make you to think the same way they want you to think. If you don't think their way, so you'll have to think lazima get a small beating. What do you say about that?
They're trying their way or the highway.
Yeah.
They're compelling you that you must align with their thoughts. Those are things that I don't think that they can apply to everybody, because some people have really transformed, and some people knows that they can differ. Their leaders don't need to agree with him. Even you can even differ in the boardrooms. And I think I think some of the leaders are still having that colonial mindset, and they are still having that. I don't see, some people don't like change. They don't like transformation, and they are stick to what used to happen, or they are stick to how they were brought up. The way they were brought up is quite different. We have different generations currently in the country. We have the Gen Alpha, the Gen Z, the Millennial, the Gen X. We are mixed up. So you cannot actually try to rule the subject based on how you are ruled when you are young. It can't happen. And that's why we have problems with this current regime. There's no way they can subject us to those nonsense. No one is going to subscribe to them. Even if they will re-election, even if they become president for lifetime, we don't care. But we will not subscribe to how they want us to. They want to control us. We can have our way. People have parallel thinking. So it doesn't, whether you are a president or a governor or a senator or an MP, you want people to, people must think the way you want, or people must subscribe to your thoughts. I can promise you, of course, you can get your way, but at the ground level, we will just do our business as independent minded. We will not mind, just do your stuff as a leader. But remember, you have different subjects, different generations, and different people who are diverse, not only in terms of tribe, but people are diverse also in terms of profession. People are diverse in terms of employment. So you must reconsider that audience, not that each and every audience just belong to a certain school of thought. So as a leader, you need to be flexible and also not push people that they must. I think it's high time we take our leaders for maybe seminar and try to engage them that they should always change how they are looking at the people.
No, Miguda, sometimes, I usually take a backseat and tend to think about it. Even, if you take leaders for seminar, but the people that they're using, especially on how they use this, especially like taking young people, especially to have this kind of like violence against your opponent or somebody who does have divergence view. are the people themselves. And remember, the people that maybe you are fighting, these are the same people that you want to represent. They're the same people that you're fighting for them to vote, even if you are. So I think as a society, or I think as a country, it is both the leaders and the people. Yeah. If at all good environment can be created whereby the young men who are possibly used or possibly are engaged in such like violence acts are given employment, find legislation on create environment whereby if they start their business, they will thrive and keep them occupied, you know, occupied, I mean, But if we just leave them, and we know that the only job that we can give young people is, especially when we are going to have create political violence against your competitor. That is the only job that, as a member of parliament or as a leader, that is the only you think is the best thing that you can offer the people that you lead. So I think that is backward, especially with the world that we have today, whereby we have technology. I think like also we can also invest in technology and invest in the tech industry, or create an environment whereby those young people can thrive on the tech use of the social media, whereby they can create and generate a lot of money, employment. So that's how you create employment. Thank you so much. Let me see what Douglas comment on Orengo embracing Ruto. We've talked about that, and there's a change of tune. And today they were in State House. Just to mention with you, even Rafael Tuju, who was the former Jubilee Secretary General, was in State House, and I think he mentioned something that is a small window, so you have to take opportunity of it. So that is politics, because in politics there's no enemies and there's no friends. When interests converge, things will work. But if it can work for people of Siaya, because you know that Siaya County is one of the counties that people have been complaining more so about, that is not delivering services. If president can come in and give lifeline to Siaya County, why not? That is what I can say. Or Miguda, what do you say?
The issue of, actually, we are not opposing development.
Yeah.
If it is going to help the people, let it come.
Yeah.
Whether it's brought by president or governor or NGOs, we welcome it. Let it come. We even the roles, the pipe. But also we must understand that there are some roles which are specifically for certain institution, whereby it's always good to follow the constitution.
Yeah.
That a certain institution is supposed to carry out the text, because it's like you are overlapping your roles, which is not good as a country which is governed by the rule of law. But no one is opposed to development. And also, what is important is that this is politics other than administration. And when it's politics, you have allies within the political class. Like right now, Ruto's allies are people like Raila, the Luo Nation, in short. So sometimes you can also lean towards your allies and try to sort them out, so that because you know you are going to fight in future, you are preparing for a war, so you must persuade your lieutenants that actually you never voted for me, I brought you in, but I delivered to you people. Now you are going to assist me to get a second term, because right now there is no way you can persuade other people to assist him to get a second term as things stand right now. That's why he has to persuade the people. So he's using the power or state power to ensure that he captured his support base, which in my view, it cannot be in accordance. Of course, it's not in accordance with the laws of the country. But we do not oppose any development. That's what I still believe. If it's going to transform the lives of the people, because even the people in Kenya are also Kenyans.
Yes.
And we are advocating for the Kenyans' rights, the equal share of resources. Their people are part and parcel of the Kenyan people. So if it's going to benefit them, and I'm seeing it's now like a competition whereby members of your county will pressurize you that you are the person, you are the problem. Why you are not getting developments? Go to State House and bring us those developments. So that's why Orengo was seen there. Because right now, they are going to get Usenge Paya. We have Mabini power. I think the next people are going to demand for Paya are the Migori people. Maybe those and so they're going to demand their Paya. So it's going to be a competition whereby you say, okay, so I think if it can, but what should be looked at it is that be applicable to the entire nation. Let us not discriminate at other areas. Let us not only focus to our allies base, because even those Kenyan people, even the people in Kisii, because even Kisii is part of Nyanza, even if Kisii are having Matiangi on the other side, but Kisii are our brothers. Let them also enjoy these developments. Let them not ignore people like Loya Nation, because you understand, Raila has been having a support base in Loya, and actually, Loya has been part and parcel that has always made Raila to be the figure in this country. So when it's looking at its bases, though it is good to start with home, but also people have made him to be where he is, like the Luya Nation, the coastal people, the Mjikenda, the Maasai. You should reconsider those people first, then we can. I think if that's the formula going on. But as for me, I'm advocating for the equal share of the resources to the entire nation without any discrimination.
Yeah, we call the equal share of resources. That is even what is advocated by our constitution. You know, there's something that Patrick Mushiri has really asked, which is what has Nyanza leaders been doing? Does Ruto has to go there for them to get stuff? Yeah, maybe that question is yes, based on now what has happened. Ndio hiyo sasa, which means labda walikuwa wametulia tu, lakini sasa Ruto. Lakini when now we come to politics, let's just take the issue of constitutionalism and all that, but talking about politics. And I would say that President William Ruto, you know, he knows how to take use good advantage of what is within his means to reach, actually to actualize what he wants. Yeah, in terms of politics. Yeah, because he said that, okay, you have to come and visit me. You have to come and visit me. And then look at what I need to give you just to come and have a sit down with me in State House. Look at what you are getting. In the normal circumstances, can you refuse that?
I think what he's doing, like, you know, it's getting pressure from the people. The people are pressuring the Orengo, that Orengo, we want development. Now, Ruto is telling Orengo, for me to come to Sia, talk to your government. Just talk to your government, I'll be there. So he's trying to take advantage, actually, of the circumstances to make sure that he made friends across politically, and also to ensure that he's building a support base. That's why we are seeing whereby I say it's not going to be a competition, whereby they're going to pressurize people like Ochila Yako. And most importantly, like I've said, it's not going to be a competition among the counts that you are either with the BBG to get development or not. So it's like it's going to create a disconnect between the leaders and the people, that it is your leader who has not made it clear for you people to work with me for you to get development. So talk to your leader for me to come to your county. So it's politically, that's now politics. You leave alone the issue of the issue of governance. But Kaman is going to use that one. That if the other time Rengo was adamant, but when he came, we sat down. Today I'm in CI. Just talk to your leader. You're going to create that unfriendly relationship between the leaders and the people.
Okay, thank you so much, and that's why I say, like, when you look at in terms of politics, and I think like the president is working it so well, because you know at the end of the day, right now, what president wants at the end of the day, despite the development that president is doing, president wants to compete his tenure, and tenure is always 10 years tenure. We have 5 years, and you have to go for 2 terms. So for you to go for 2 terms, as you know, like the development of politics, if you look at right now, which we are going to discuss today about what is happening, you know, like where the president really got majority of support was in central Kenya, which as we speak today is not his support base right now. He has very few people who are supporting him. But now you have to look at how can I replace, you know, it's a political of math, subtraction and addition. That is what he's doing. If doing those developments may give him his vote through the influence of Raila Amolo Odinga and delivering his support base, then so be it. Because like the politics, that is his job. You know, so you don't want just to lose your job like that. Uende bila kupata hizo benefits, and also the prestige that comes with the presidency. The presidency is so prestigious, you cannot just lose it like the lazima ukule 10 terms. So that is something that we have to agree, because it's politics. Now, let's change the gears. Let's change the gears and look at what is happening, especially with the politics of Mount Kenya. It's quite much interesting, especially yesterday. As you know, the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua had an impromptu meeting, especially impromptu rally. It was an announced rally at Kikuyu town and Dagoretti, and these are counties. These are constituencies that are the members of parliament are allied to President William Ruto. But if you saw the reception that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua got, was so much massive, and this one speaks a lot in terms of the groundwork and what the DCP party that was held that was unveiled the other day, especially is doing. Let me see what Douglas Ben Ken. Did you hear what Mark said yesterday about lawyer of Raila in 2022? Yes, I heard about it, and we should have a conversation over it and know more about it, and to get it. Remember, Makubura the other day was in the ground. He left the studio. He was in Homa Bay, then visited the good county of Kisumu. So he had a conversation with quite a number of locals, and and he got their views. So that is one kind of very interesting stories to know from one-on-one conversation that he had with the good friend, the learned friend. How I wish like he had the camera and he could do that. He could have had that interview. It could have been more interesting to watch on how the interview was done. So this is what I'm saying about the Rigathi Gachagua and what happened, and the massive reception as the massive crowd in town, Kikuyu town. And let's face it, for those who have visited Kikuyu town, Kimani Ichungwa is one of those who have tarmacked the roads of the roads, especially in Kikuyuni. I think when we look at central Kenya, I might be wrong if somebody is from either those areas can confirm to me. In terms of infrastructure, I think like Kikuyu, the Kikuyu constituency is far much better than any other constituency. That is, I think, where Kimani Ichungwa focused so much. And if you compare him with Ndindi Nyoro, Ndindi Nyoro has so much concentrated, especially on would I say, has concentrated on what do I say? He has concentrated on doing the tiles of the schools. But when you come to Kimani is so much infrastructure, so much in the roads. So that is something that we have to agree. But despite all those, when you saw what happened, let me bring in Miguda and can weigh his word too.
Hello.
Mm.
I was saying, I heard you talking about 5 years, that is going to last for 5 years, but you understand now, the senior council, PG told us that we are a 4-term nation. It's like 5 years. We are 4 years. Like you have to serve for 4 years. So I think the election is next year, 2026. We are talking about 2027. Right? We have heard, and sometimes it is in the record, is that actually it's true that the Kikuyu constituency has developed in infrastructure, and also Ndindi Nyoro has tried so well to ensure that when it comes to education, masomo bora to the people of the Kiaru constituency. So you understand that Kimani Ichungwa was once chair for budget. Even Ndindi Nyoro was chair for budget, but during that time they really worked for their constituents and their region. But there was also some allegation that there was a time whereby Kikuyu constituency alone, there was a allocation of 2 billion for infrastructure, one constituency. It's that some of the regions have been marginalized. That is true, but it's only the Luo people who have been marginalized. Even the Ma community
Yeah.
the Mikenda, even the people in Busia. So even in Busia, when it comes to infrastructure, it's pathetic. Busia is doing bad in infrastructure. Those has been Raila's base. So when you want to look at it in terms of marginalization, it's not only the Luo Nation, but there are a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of countries which have been marginalized when it
Yes.
comes to even allocation and appropriation of the resources. So I
Yeah.
still believe that it's high time that we embrace the issue of non-discrimination,
Yeah.
whereby it should be equal share of resources, not partly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Miguda, for that contribution. Let me also welcome today our good friend Maribela. Maribela, how are you doing, sir?
Jambo brother Benson,
Habari ya leo.
ni Joseph.
Oh, Joseph, thank you so much. Sorry about that, sir. How are you doing?
I'm very fine. How has your day been?
Our day has been so good. As you know, this our work usually requires that you walk around and collect some data and come and have a conversation with the good people of Kenya to know what is taking place. And today we were just, we had already discussed about the delegation from Siaya County that visited the president, and we made some comments. And also now we are discussing about the rally that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. It was an impromptu rally, especially yesterday in Kikuyu and Dagoretti, and where we saw one person that one leader that we usually see him on the screen, Fred Fanya, is called Fanyamambo Africa. Actually, he was there in Dagoretti. I think he will be vying for that constituency where I think,
Brother Benson.
Yeah.
To tell you something. Do you know Fanyamambo is our neighbor?
Oh,
his house and our house is just the fence separating it.
Yes, I saw him with His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. So it is very clear that he might run for one of the parliamentary seat come 2027.
He's running for Dagoretti South. That is where I come from.
Dagoretti South. Okay, where KJ is.
He's competing with KJ.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And now, just to begin, I want to know your thought, especially impromptu rally in Kikuyu town, where Kimani Ichungwa is, because if you look at Kimani Ichungwa, he has a history with Rigathi Gachagua. Just to give you a little bit of history with Kimani Ichungwa and Rigathi Gachagua, remember, they were the front runners and the people who really campaigned President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta in central Kenya. Kimani Ichungwa, if I might count, Rigathi Gachagua and Ndindi Nyoro, they were very vocal, including Alice Wahome, the CS for Lands. And when it came to impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua too, he was very vocal and he took the center stage, though he seemed to be in the back. And until today, he keeps on castigating Rigathi Gachagua, despite his impeachment and all that. And yesterday you saw that. What is your take on it?
Thank you so much for the platform. This guy, in Kikuyu, we call him Kunda Gotome. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't know, sir.
I'll explain to you in English. It means, drink, I send you.
Yeah.
So I'll pour you a drink, then I'll send you. So in Kikuyu, they are people who are used to stay like somewhere. You see these people who drink maybe local brews.
Yes.
They were always drinking. So when they need to be sent, they come, you buy for them a drink, but you send them to do some errands. So I think you've seen people like that. They come to the club, they don't have money. So they are the ones who are doing all the dirty business you want them to do. You are sending them here, take my phone, do this, yeah. So he's a Kunda Gotome because he's selling the community.
Yeah.
He has always been selling the community. It's not the time he has started. He started with Uhuru Kenyatta. If there is somebody who has abused Uhuru Kenyatta, I think Kimani Ichungwa is one of the guys who has majored in abusing Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
So even him abusing Rigathi Gachagua is not a big issue because we know he's woman-like. So we know him. He's woman-like. He's too much mouthy and rowdy. That's why you hear us calling him the wife of Ruto, because he's too much mouthy and rowdy.
Yes.
So I wanted. There's something I found you talking about. You're saying
Yes.
that he has brought infrastructure in Kikuyu.
Yes.
I need to educate you something, brother.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
Kikuyu opened up because of the Eastern Bypass. Do you know the Eastern Bypass?
It's the Kikuyu constituency.
It opened up because of the Eastern Bypass.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and not only Kikuyu.
Mm-hmm.
I told you we stay in Dagoretti.
Yeah.
I stay in a place called Lenana. You know Lenana High School?
Yeah, I know, sir.
Yeah, so in Lenana High School, it's just a short distance to where we stay. I can hear even Lenana High School when they're in games when I'm at
Okay.
home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where also Fanyamambo has come from. So that road did not only open Kikuyu constituency, it opened even Dagoretti constituency. It opened Langata constituency, it opened Dagoretti South constituency, and it also opened Kikuyu constituency because that road runs through there. It is running through there all the way from eastern from Mombasa Road to where it is connecting now with the what do we call this highway, Wayaki Highway. Let's call it Naivasha Highway because Wayaki is still before you reach Kikuyu. So you see that county, that constituency was advantage because of the two roads. There is a Wayaki Highway, and now we got the Eastern Bypass. So if you have these two roads, it means it will automatically open for you the constituency. It's just like the places. Do you hear Kenol? You know Kenol?
Yes, Kenol in Muranga.
Yeah, it has. Why has it opened up? It has opened up because of the dual carriage that is called Marua. It's called the Kenol Marua dual carriage. All that place has opened up. Even you see the lands there. If you want to buy a piece of land there,
yeah,
it's so much expensive now.
Yeah. Okay.
It was around 300-400 K. Now it is around now going 1 million.
Okay, but now when we look at politics, part of it, and that history of him with Rigathi Gachagua and being one person that with the infrastructure and somebody that have played a critical part, and you see the Rigathi Gachagua was impromptu. Actually, it was a rally that was not announced, and that massive reception. What does that one tell you?
Ichungwa, you should not even bring him to the equation. Do you know Ichungwa is running to become the governor for Kiambu? So when you go to the county level to campaign for the county level, you always leave the national level politics. It is always very overwhelming. If there is a county which is big, it is Kiambu County. Do you know it runs from Juja all the way to Limuru. But it's a very big county. So he cannot be able to engage himself in this. Right now he's engaging because he's in the bunge. But when we say the whistle will be blown in 2026, around there, because the whistle will be blown for the campaigns to start, I think. It's 2026, 2027 starting. You will not see him because he'll be much engaged in the politics of Kiambu County.
If I get you right, because like when I look at Kiambu, with especially of late on how Kimani Ichungwa has been having these rallies, being heckled and sometimes being booed, especially sometimes with Kindiki, how sure he is that he is going to garner more votes, especially in Kiambu, and we still have Wamatangi, who is very quiet, but sometimes might be working.
My friend, this guy cannot win Kiambu County elections. He's only favorable maybe in Kikuyu constituency. Where else?
Yeah.
Even when you go to their Kabete, which you see Kabete is just there.
Yeah, Kabete.
He cannot have even votes in Kabete. Leave Kabete, Thika there. The politics are very hot in Thika. You saw what happened in Limuru.
Yep.
In Limuru, it will be tough for him. This race is Kiambu County race is very tough. And you know, in Kiambu, we have the rights of Gathoni wa Mushomba.
Yes.
You know the Iron Lady. She comes from Kiambu. We have so many people who are there, who are even the MCAs. You saw the Kiambu MCAs visiting Wamunyoro.
Yes.
Yes, so it's a very uphill task for him. You saw even the day they went and started shooting. There was a day they were with the Kangombe. You know this Kangombe? This Kangombe is called, this MP is called Kangombe. You know him? There is an MP. They went, there was a scaffold there. They started shooting on the air when the people were chasing them. They were fighting over a market. I don't know if you remember that day.
I remember. So let me just hold on. Let me bring in my brother Miguda. When you saw that massive crowd, especially in both Kikuyu and Dagoretti, where the members of parliament are very vocal. I think you know KJ, even during the Gen Z movement, he talked about Photoshop. And the other day, immediately after the release of the BBC, there's the words that he made, and the massive and the reception of Rigathi Gachagua. And even he went ahead, especially for Kikuyuni. I think Rigathi Gachagua endorsed one of the residents who wants to run for that. What does it bring? Picture does it bring to your mind, especially when you look at the DCP party that started recently?
First, I'd like you to, when you're engaging our guests, you maybe if you can get Fanyamambo, so you can also Fanyamambo. You understand that one. So take note on that one.
I've engaged him. I've engaged him, but we will still we are still planning. I have his number.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I will say, actually, like we have said now, Gachagua, when Gachagua was impeached, it was partyless, and he was not even a party leader. But right now, he's a party leader, and the party is DCP. But he's moving across the country. He's making some significant changes. Like when you see him with people like Fanyamambo, Dauri South, I can assure you, Fanyamambo can beat JK very early in the morning, based on Fanyamambo has been always in the side of the people, even during the demonstration, even in terms of advocacy into the mainstream media, social media, he has been always with the people. So I think that will be a walk in the park for Fanyamambo. And when Rigathi Gachagua is moving across the Kiambu County or other region of Kenya, at least he's making some inroads into Nairobi politics. Like we have said before, people are saying, okay, he has been in the Mount Kenya region, but he's trying to make some inroads to Nairobi politics. He wants to make sure that within Nairobi, at least he can garner some members of parliament with the party so-called DCP. And that's a clear indication that there is that widespread of that party. And if the people of Mount Kenya can rally behind that party, they'll just decamp from UDA and likely vote for people like Fanyamambo. And when we talk about the issue of Kikuyu constituency, you know, it was very easy for him to be received, and you understand the way he got a warm reception, unlike the current MP, because there have been some issues with him. Even when he was given a platform to speak to the people, he has been heckled. I think Kimani Ichungwa has been labeled as a traitor to the community. So when you are a traitor to the community, the people are likely not going to give you enough audience. At the same time, it is the same things. You understand, even in Nyanza, those people who have been labeled as traitors, they're usually not being elected. So it's happening across the region. In Central Province, I think people like Ichungwa and the team, they have been the traitors of the community. And you can understand, because this is Gachagua politics, is labeling them that these people are traitors. So it's putting that burden to the people that it is a community affair, whereby Ruto con the whole community, and the people like Mani Shungwa, those are people around him, the sycophants team, where they are trying to betray the whole community. So I think the Kikuyu nation also, in their own perspective, they also view these leaders as traitors. And you understand the history of traitors in the Kikuyu nation. The traitors have not gotten it very well with the Kikuyu nation. So I believe Gachagua is getting away with the narrative, and it's getting with the people, and he's trying. Even you understand what he said, that they are not going to elect foolish MPs. You thought that one, because he's trying to make sure that those people who participated in the impeachment process, who did not consult, actually they're not going to get back to parliament. So he's trying to create a new team and a new legislatures from the region. And I think one of the things he's doing good to me as a new party, that the fact that he's now coming out of Nairobi and actually making friends within the capital city. and it should also spread across the country. I think that's a very good move for a new political party.
Okay, thank you so much, Miguda, for that intake, and Mr. Joseph, let me also engage you. So when this one is happening, especially to those who are very, very inner core of the president, and you see this massive, should they get worried, or they should just think that this is just a wind that will be passing, and soon we will get back to our feet?
Thank you, Mr. His name is Ugunda. Mr. Ugunda.
Miguda.
Miguda, I like your argument there, and I would like us to add something on what you said, and also add some information on what you said. Do you know there is only one thing that Gachagua is doing? He has only one work to do. His work is just to unite the Kikuyu community vote. He does not need any other work. His work is just one, to unite the Kikuyu vote. So that if he unites the Kikuyu vote, the other guys will be able to unite their votes so that they can come to the table and see how they are going to to have a coalition. So for him getting the reception he got in Dagoretti and Dagoretti South and Kikuyu, it's well received, because the Dagoretti South and Kikuyu, they have been the constituencies that have been working with the government. In Jubilee, they gave them the votes for the presidency, the MP, the MCA, everybody. So even now, I'm telling you, because I vote there. I'm telling you because I vote there. We are giving it to DCP. It is going to go to DCP. I vote there, and I'm not voting for KJ. I am not voting for KJ. So my vote, already is counting, because I'm not voting for KJ. I'm going to vote for Fanyamambo. So that is my vote. And for governor, I'm not voting Sakaja. So already Dagoretti South is a Kikuyu base. Mostly is a Kikuyu base. Now we have some other people who are coming in streaming. You know, Nairobi is Nairobi. But it's a Kikuyu base which is very, 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 very involved in politics of Mountain. That's why you see there is Dagoretti North. Dagoretti North, you see who is the MP. The MP is Beatrice Elachi, who is coming from the Loyal Nation. Because in Dagoretti North, so many of the people who come there, you find Luya and Luo nations. And Luo Nation are the ones who are predominant in that area. Okay, coming to your question, this is not just a wave, my brother. Ruto is shaking.
Yeah,
this is not just a wave; he's shaking. Why has he not arrested Gachagua? They claim they are going to arrest him. Why is he not arresting him? Because Gachagua has already become. You know, the politicians, we were told that if you arrest ukishika huyu kuna waka moto. You know the politicians like Raila. People are saying ukishika Raila, Kenya inachomeka. Right now, Ruto cannot try and arrest Rigathi Gachagua. Why? Ukishika yeye, it will be chaos. So
we need to be
it's not a wave,
or just only from the central Kenya part.
For who?
For Gachagua.
Gachagua is just operating in the central Kenya part. He does not need any other part. His work is just. That's why you see these guys. They are very clever. They are giving everybody his task. If it is Natembea, you consolidate the Mulembe Nation. If it is Gachagua, you consolidate the Mount Kenya region. If it is this Kalonzo, you consolidate the Kamba region. If it is this other guy Matiang'i, you consolidate the Kisii region. So if they continue consolidating like this, that's when they come and see the numbers. Then they are going to have a meeting and know who they are going to support as one candidate. So these things, we are arranging them, brother. We are going slowly. We are going to reach there. You will see. Even we'll have a presidential running candidate and a running mate. And wacha hivyo Ruto anachina akitutishia hapa ati tunataka utuoneshe nani anasimama. He will see the person tunasimamisha na ataona moto.
So which means the consolidation, especially with Rigathi Gachagua in terms of Mount Kenya, is a done deal for Rigathi Gachagua and the DCP party. That is what you want to let us know.
Brother, what did you see in Nyeri? What did you see in Nyeri yesterday?
Actually, we are coming to that, and we also need to discuss about that, about the Nyeri. But before we come to the Nyeri issue, just and let's also discuss something that also I will ask my brother, then you will have to conclude in it, because it's also something that need to be discussed. You know, the other day, President had the Council of Governors, and to your information, I was going through the list of the governors that were not there. The Cecil Mbarire, the good governor of Embu, was missing. And before even that, there was the altercation between him and Kindiki. Remember that I will tell you something, but you will not. Actually, I can get it. And she missed out on the Council of Governors. I think him and Natembea, they were missing. And there's also rumors that the deputy president and the governor, they are working ways to mend the fences, because there's a tension between the two leaders. Remember the other day during the Madaraka Day, she said that there's government officials who are coming in his country to sabotage the county, to sabotage her work. And this is a UDA, you know, and all this is happening in UDA, and with the Mount Kenya wave of Rigathi Gachagua, and this is coming from Mount Kenya East, you know. Miguda, what do you think? What is happening?
I think people right now, already the people have made their mind.
Yeah.
And there are people who are trying to, they're trying to buy time for the right time. Because right now, if you try, if they can identify you that you are opposed to the status quo, they will bring you down the way they're trying to bring Natembeya down. You know, they tried to do it to Orengo, threats like impeachment, threats like they want to maybe what they are doing to Natembeya, things like fake charges. So some governors do not want to have the problem, because, you know, the easiest person to get out of office is governor, just through impeachment, then Senate, from Senate court, then the deputy governor will become the governor. So I think some governors are taking that time, but actually some people have made their mind. And what I can just assure you that, because you understand, even during the time Ruto was engaging the mountain in 2022, people like Wamatangi, they just made the move, or I think on some a week to election, and maybe I think a week to nomination, and he was given the UDA ticket for gubernatorial in Kiambu, and actually he won that seat. It means that some people are making some steps which might not be seen, which might be invisible right now. Even I can assure you that people like Cecil Mbarire, let me tell you, my brother Benson, whatever I can assure is that me, what I know is that the people of Mount Kenya, from my view, which I'm entitled to, are not going to vote for William Ruto. Come what may, they are not with William. They are just trying to, even the current governors who are in the UDA, they will bolt out even 6 months to election. Some of them will just bolt out. People like Kangata, for them to get second term in Muranga, they must go with DCP. They must go with Gachagua. I'm persuaded. There's no way the Mount Kenya people are going to vote for William Ruto. William Ruto must look votes elsewhere, but not Mount Kenya. Regarding Gachagua, successfully chase him out of the mountain.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. And before I bring in that, so this is a quote which the governor said. There are people in the government that I defend daily who are now working to politically undermine me. They are holding secret meetings, secret night meetings. If intimidation doesn't stop, I will expose them, she said. On Tuesday, she boycotted a delegation meeting hosted by DP Kindiki. Sorry, I said it was not about the governor. Sorry about that. It was a delegation by DP Kindiki at his current residence, which focused on economic issues affecting Embu County. So it was not about governors. I think it was the Kindiki. Sorry about that for misinformation. But now, my friend, that's what is there. She boycotted that meeting. My brother, what does that tell you, especially when you look at the politics of Mount Kenya East?
Me?
Yes.
Me or,
You.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My friend, today is like you're touching me in many ways. Huh?
No, sorry.
No. Let me explain. Today you are touching me in many ways. My wife is a Meru.
Yeah.
My wife is a Meru. She's a voter in Embu.
Yeah.
She's a voter in Embu, but we stay in Kirinyaga. So you understand. She's a voter in she's born in Meru. She's a voter in Embu. We live in Kirinyaga, and I vote in Nairobi. So I can speak on these things with knowledge.
Yeah.
So in Embu, the politics is very tough, brother. In Embu, the politics are very tough because the politics in Embu, this guy Kindiki wants, like, he wants to bring his hand in Embu politics, but it is very hard for him. But I saw they met with Kindiki. So Cecily Barira met with Kindiki. They took pictures. So Embu, the politics is very tough because there is a guy called Mukonji. You know Mukonji? Gitonga.
Yes.
So there is a war brewing there because there is a function. In Embu, there is two let's say two sub clans.
Yeah.
There is one called the Mbere, and there is the other one. I think I'll tell you the name after. If Mbere is standing for governor, the deputy should be from the other side. If the other side is standing for governor, the Mbere should be the deputy. Now what they have done, this guy is from Mbere. No, it's from Mbere. No, it's from Nyanza, I think. They have taken advantage. They have ruled Embu for a long time. So what is happening? The other guys, they are saying, no, you have been taking us for a ride. We're not going to accept this. We need to bring in our guys because you cannot be telling us we become only the deputy all the time. Why are you telling us we be the deputy all the time? We need we need to be the governor. So Mukonji is coming from the other function, and Sisiri from the. So it is a very tough race. And also Mukonji is seen like being supported by the Gen Z. You know that?
Yeah, that is
being supported by the Gen Z. So, and what happened when Ruto was in Embu, they abducted Mukonji.
Yeah, I can remember
the stories.
Yeah, there was a day he was in the show and he said that he was abducted for something like around 1 hour. I can remember, I quote him very well. There was a day he was on and he said
and that stupid MP who was there with him, he was saying you are not, even it was a big fiasco between them, and Onyonka and them is like Onyonka even wanted to leave the show.
I remember.
What I wanted to tell you is Embu politics is very, very hard politics, and what I'm waiting, brother, I'm waiting for, even leave the elections, I'm waiting to show you, because I don't talk in only talking. I like it to be action. We are waiting for the by-elections that are going to happen. The by-elections that are going to happen, because IEBC is coming. The by-elections that are going to happen, whatever Ruto will see, he'll see fire. And there is where it will start. You remember we started with the by-election in it's called where? This guy Kawanjiko. The by-election was in where? In Kiamba. We had 2 by-elections. What did Jubilee see? They saw dust. They saw dust. They never got elected in those 2 by. The only candidate in Jubilee got in Naivasha. I think the by-election in Naivasha. So me, I'm not talking by words only. I'm waiting for action. You'll see what will happen.
Okay, thank you so much. Hold on, let me bring. There's something that the guests have really said that is quite much interesting, and it is something that we've seen, especially, remember, during the time when UDA came, and majority of leaders from Central Kenya actually jumped to the UDA. And remember, when you look it closely, the UDA was not their party, but the way they voted, and the way they participated in the voting of UDA, and to defeat the influence of the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And now we are talking about the DCP, and this is a party that is formed from that region and is aligned to their leader. What kind of massive are you seeing going to happen, especially to the members of parliament, especially those who will not align themselves to DCP?
I believe that when UDA came to play, the person who mobilized UDA in Central Province was the same guy, Gachagua. Remember, he was being given accolades by Mr. President. We nominated him as the running mate because he's a mobilizer. He's a grand mobilizer. So he mobilized people of Mount Kenya to get into UDA. So and you are doing away with such a person in your formation, that was like you are committing a political suicide from that region, because if that was not their party and the party leader was not their person, and they had issues with the Ruto, the 2007 2000 election, post-election violence, they were still having those issues, and right now those issues has come out to be played in politics. So if they had an issue with this person of committing some atrocities to the community, and this person was not their person, and the party was not their party, but they embraced him because they have said they are not going to vote for Raila Odinga, or whatever reasons, which is well known to them. And right now, they have their own party. Their party that is from their region, and they have the guy who was they are painting him like someone who has betrayed the whole community. And some people do, maybe you can call Gachagua tribal, you can call him all sorts of name, but whatever he's saying is resonating so well with the ground. That's what the ground want to hear. That's what the masses want to hear. So whether you call him tribal, no, you are making him to be happy because he's communicating to his constituents. It doesn't matter whether it's tribal, but the consequence is concentrated, because Gachagua cannot be loved across the country. Even Ruto cannot be loved across the country. Even Raila was never loved across the country, even Uhuru. So you cannot be loved across the country. There must be a specific audience you are targeting, and that's the Kikuyu nation. So to him, it's love in the Kikuyu nation. To him, whether it's tribal, whether you are calling him all sorts of name, but with the consequence, the audience are happy with him. So in my view, and now, of course, he's working extra hard because he has faced betrayal in the Ruto regime. So it's going to put a lot of effort to ensure that he chases whatever is called the yellow fever in Mount Kenya. And that's why I believe that, like me, I talked to these people of Mount Kenya. Actually, even today I was in a certain shop with a Kikuyu guy. I engaged them. I know I was talking to him outside the region. Is someone who's studying is studying in Nyanza. So when we engage, the way he was passionate about DCP, the way he was passionate about Gachagua. So if this someone who is outside the region, what about the masses, the local people who are there? I believe that these people, if you must understand them, and they are many in numbers. So they like their thing, they like their property, they like their person. So if that was not their person, not their party, but they embrace it due to political misunderstanding about Raila, you understand the issue of Raila and the Kikuyu nation. So that one aside. So if they do it to ensure that Raila cannot get to the power, so what about something which is going to come from their own region? I believe that we are here to be witness. I believe that going forward, these people, the so-called Kikuyu nation, are going to embrace DCP more than they embrace UDA. They are going to embrace Gachagua more than they embrace Ruto. In the national outlook, you can view Gachagua as tribalist or as someone who loves Mount Kenya alone. But to the nation, the masses in Mount Kenya region, that's what they want. That's what they like. And that's how people vote. So it is not their fault, but Gachagua has mastered the heart. He understands the terrain very well, that for him to be, and for him to be loved, he must speak the language he's speaking. To you, you might castigate that, no, you should not, Allah should not speak that way. No, that is how he's going to resonate so well with the masses in that region. So when it comes to the negotiation, you will have some, with me, I have like 35%. What do you have? Me, I have 2%, 2%. Like me, I have ensured that I'm beyond Mount Kenya. I'm in Nairobi politics right now. I have a governor. I have MCAs across. I have MPs across. So I'm spread. What about you? So that, I think that's why I believe that if that was UDA and William Ruto, they embrace it. What about right now? Their political party, because it was very specific that nitaleta chama yetu. So he's trying to tell them that this is now ours. That was not ours. So I think there are so many narratives being played at local level. And even he said that we went for a wedding, but we used someone's vehicle. So to get out of the vehicle, after the wedding. So such narratives, they tend to resonate so well with the masses, that they are going to embrace it. So if that was UDA and William Ruto, they embrace it. What about right now? Their political party, because it was very specific that nitaleta chama yetu. So he's trying to tell them that this is now ours. That was not ours. So I think there are so many narratives being played at local level. And even he said that we went for a wedding, but we used someone's vehicle. So to get out of the vehicle, after the wedding. So such narratives, they tend to resonate so well with the masses, But you can come to the limelight like you want to be rational, you want to be logic in your thinking, you want to look like a Pan-Africanist, you want to look like a diplomat. But that one does not matter when it comes to the ground. The ground politics, those petty things you are seeing in the limelight, those are the things that markets do embrace. That's why I still believe that there's no way, and like I've said before, there's no way, even Ruto was never voted for the entire country. There was a people who voted for him. There's no way one person can be embraced by the entire nation that all of us are going to vote for. There must be a section of the people who are going to oppose to other persons. So I believe that the DCP is going to sweep the Mount Kenya.
Okay, thank you so much. And maybe to just to get the last view on the DCP and looking at how things have played, especially now, I want to ask my brother, because here we have a Jubilee party. And also we have a DCP, and in Jubilee there were wrangles. The wing of Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega, and that wing of Jeremiah Kioni that stayed with President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And now the DCP is coming in, and as we know, we've always seen it with the politics how it plays. A new party, especially of that comes in a region, tend to have more defectors or tend to carry the day, especially. My friend, where that this one leaves the Jubilee, the Sabina factions and the Jeremiah Kioni side?
Brother, I just want to educate you on something small. In Kikuyu, where I come from, Mount Kenya, the people don't follow the leader. The leader is the one who looks for the people. So, I did not support Gachagua. Why am I supporting him now? Because he came to us. What happens, you see, even now, if Gachagua can decide to join Ruto,
yes,
the Kikuyu people will not follow him. He will go alone, because the Kikuyu people don't follow a leader. The leader follow them. And you saw even the Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yeah.
People are thinking Kikuyu people will follow Uhuru Kenyatta. They never followed him, because Kikuyu people don't follow a leader. And if they don't want that thing that you're telling them, even if you beat drums or you do what, or you climb trees, they will not follow what you are saying. And for another additional information, Kikuyu people did not leave Ruto when he removed Gachagua. Kikuyu people had already left Ruto. Gachagua joined the Kikuyu people. Kikuyu people had already left Ruto a long time ago. You see, from the finance bill 2023, starting from there, that is where Kikuyu people started to leave him. And if you want to know many Kikuyu people left him, there is Kikuyu businessmen who are working in Nairobi. You hear them; they are the ones who are working in this River Road, these shops you see there in the River Road. They are the ones who have these businesses. They were the ones who are touched so much. And this guy also showed his true colors, that is like he wants to invade the pockets of the Kikuyu. Remember the avocado trees? They were saying that 5 trees. Yeah, they were saying that that somebody will be taxed. If you have 5 trees and above, you'll be taxed. You remember those ones? The taxes that he was bringing in the 2020. That was not 2024 bill. It was 2023. So that we come to 2024. So Gachagua was impeached in 2024. So the Kikuyu people had already left Ruto 2023. You remember Wamushomba? Wamushomba started to fight Ruto when? He started to fight him even long before Gachagua had been impeached. Wamushomba started in the 2023 finance bill. So Kikuyu people don't follow the leaders. The leaders are the ones who come to them. And that's why you see his party is always putting an ear that is listening to the ground. Because if Kikuyu people, you don't listen to what they are saying, you say that you are the leader and you are going to do, no, he will find it rough. So I come to the point for Jubilee. Jubilee in Mount Kenya, brother, is a dead party.
Oh.
That one is done and dusted. And DCP will come and reign in UDA, and they are going to take MP seats. And for Jubilee, you know why Kikuyus are not supporting Jubilee? Jubilee looks like it has a hand in, Ruto has a hand still in Jubilee. Because you see Sabina Chege. How can you see Sabina Chege still talking? Sabina Chege is still supporting the government. By the way, most of the MPs in Jubilee, which side are they? They're in the government side. I can tell you. You see Kororia?
Yeah.
There is another MP there in Naivasha, also from Jubilee. All these guys. It's only Jeremaki only, and Jeremaki only, they are still fighting with him. We don't know who is the. It's only the court pronounced that he's the Secretary General. They were saying even now we don't know who is the party leader. Who is the party leader? Sabina Chege overthrew Uhuru.
Yeah. Yes. By the way.
So we don't still know the party leader. So right now is when we are seeing they imagine to bring Matiang'i as the party leader. So what will happen if Jubilee Matiang'i will stand with Jubilee? Jubilee will be a party in Kisii region. It will be a major player in Kisii region. Because if Matiang'i will stand with that party and not go to Upia, here he has Upia. If we stand with Jubilee, and I know he's going to stand with Jubilee because Jubilee has capital. Because Uhuru is there. There is capital. In Jubilee, there is capital. So his people will be able to gather masses in Kisii, and Jubilee will be a party in Kisii. And also other regions like Nakuru, in Nakuru County, you'll find some Jubilee. In Mount Kenya, you'll find some 1, 2, 3 MPs you not lack from Jubilee, but most of the majority of the day will be carried by this party for Gachagua.
Okay, thank you so much. And now we are in our last lap, and our last lap is about what happened to the deputy president, especially when he was visiting in Othaya, that is Nyeri County, the home county of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. And we are going to discuss about it because like the heckling that took place. So the questions are, people might ask, was it planned or there was a organized group to heckle the deputy president? And if the function was a state function, why was the governor of the good of Nyeri was not invited? So those are the questions that we are going to ask. But if you're new here in Brother Benson for the very first time, kindly join us by doing subscription. So when we are having a conversation like this, you can be part of the conversation. And let me just give you a history when we're talking about Kithure Kindiki. As you can remember very well, when they were looking, especially when the UDA was looking for a deputy president, whereby they went into a room and they were voting, what that came out that Kindiki won through the votes, but the president decided to choose on Rigathi Gachagua, maybe based on the messaging and crowd polling. That was one of those reasons maybe president preferred Rigathi Gachagua over Kindiki. But when the time came after impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, Kindiki was the replacement. And maybe the politics or the decision of the president and his allies informed him that when Kindiki is given the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua will only take 2 weeks, then his influence disappears in the thin air. But that is not the case. The impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua created another Rigathi Gachagua that we did not know. Now he has a political party. Now he commands an influence. Now we've seen there are now muscles whereby people are saying, can you compare Rigathi Gachagua and Deputy President Kithure Kindiki? And as you know, Rigathi Gachagua has always nicknamed Kindiki as a yes person. And now we are seeing the influence where Kindiki has always tried level best, including the new strategy that they brought in place, whereby he has a tent meeting with the people of empowerment, bottom-up empowerment, where he gives money to the musicians you saw the other day, and also to the young people who are doing business so that they can reduce the influence of Rigathi Gachagua. But the question is this working? Miguda, what is your thought, especially based on what I've given you and what happened to the deputy president?
When it comes to the issue of heckling, we cannot know the source where it came from, but people have been heckled, even Mr. President has been heckled. So maybe it can be organized, or maybe it can be organic from the people. But what I want to say is that we never saw, of course, you said that people already proposed that Kindiki was supposed to be the running mate for William Ruto, but we never saw it actualizing. What we saw, and we have, is that Rigathi Gachagua was their running mate, and they were voted for a joint ticket. We do not know how the outcome could look like. If they could have with Kindiki, in the ballot. But what I know is that Kindiki was never elected. Gachagua was elected along with William Ruto. People went to ballot to elect Gachagua and Ruto ticket. People never went there to elect Ruto and Kindiki ticket. Kindiki came through nomination after Gachagua was impeached. So maybe people might be dissatisfied that is this not what we do, what we did, because someone was elected, someone was never elected. But you have a theory part of it that people voted for him, but we never saw it actualizing on the election day. What we had on the election day was Ruto regard the ticket, not Ruto Kindiki ticket. So I think that's why we have here many things. But Gachagua is this a yes person because he was never elected. No one elected him. He was made actually the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Kindiki was made. So he must have issues with the people because he never went through election process whereby people walked into a polling station to elect him. That's why maybe it can be a dissatisfaction from the people, or it can be organized. So I think I just want to leave it at that point.
Okay, thank you so much for that input. And my brother, what do you say when you see this one is happening to the deputy president, especially when he goes to meet the people? And my question is, if it was a state function, why not invite the governor? Because is the president of the county, you're just going by yourself, or governor to send a representative?
Yes, brother. If there is somebody who paid crowd to come and be there, was first Kindiki, because Kindiki had paid the people to come and do that. What he's calling, I don't know what is he calling. He's calling them empowerment.
Bottom up
empowerment. The empowerment that is only being done in Mount Kenya. Is there any other place you're seeing empowerment? Because I don't know. They are saying Gachagua is tribal, but I can only see the deputy president in Mount Kenya doing empowerment. What is that being called? I don't see him in Somalia. Not Somalia. I don't see him in Wajir or Marsabit or there in Kilifi doing empowerment. Which empowerment is he doing? And also, if he's saying he was heckled, he had people who he had paid to come and be with him there. Why were they not heckling back to the people who are heckling? It means also the people who he had brought there, they were not supporting him also. They wanted also him to ship out. But I don't know what is happening with these guys who are not elected. They are very angry. These guys who are not elected, they are very angry. These guys who are nominated, they are very angry. We can see it with Kithure Kindiki. We can see it with Samia Suluhu. What is the problem with these guys who are nominated? They have not gone for elections. They are very angry, brother. Huh?
They're very,
how can you come to argue with people and you know you are just nominated at night? On a weekend first. They even went to court to try to nominate you on a weekend. Why are you angry? And you come I was even happy that he's telling us that utakuja kututishia the way he was talking. Yeah, even him himself, he knows he does not have base. He was just saying the other day he does not have base. His voice is soprano. So how can we be led by somebody who does not even have base, brother, in his mouth? He's like when we cannot hear what you are saying, brother. Even when you want to make it that we are having a stand. Can you imagine that Kithure Kindiki is the one who is talking on behalf of Mount Kenya region? How can it be? That is the guy who is talking on our behalf.
And now let me ask you, if you look at the strategy, yeah, we've talked about it, and you also, we are very glad that you mentioned it, that the bottom-up empowerment project, especially, remember, this bottom-up the money that is being used is not accounted for. We don't know where the money is coming from. We don't know, but maybe it might be coming from his own pockets, or the friends are contributing. And another thing, if you look at the Kenyan's laws, Miguda, you will help us with that. I don't know whether it was taken that for you to withdraw more than $1 million, you have to give the reason why. I don't know whether it applies to leaders or it only applies to the commoners. And you know, so that's Miguda, you will help us with that. But now, looking at the strategies that the deputy president, Honorable Kindiki, is using, especially in Mount Kenya, whereby you are having a tent meeting. you know, and Rigathi Gachagua is talking to the people one-on-one, meeting the people, meet and greet. Is this one going to work for him and to encounter that wave of Rigathi Gachagua?
Brother, Uhuru Kenyatta tried this. He had Sagana 1.
Yeah.
He had Sagana 2. And he had even Sagana, I think, 3. Where did they take him? He never got votes. Because if the Kikuyu nation has decided, brother, even if you, I told you, even if you go to I don't know where, even if you go to the Tower of Babel there up, if it was still existing, they will not hear you. That guy, they are eating his money, and they will eat the money, and it will be eaten very good. Because those guys, the guys, they already know. You know, there is one thing that Kikuyu people hate, and I don't know why. They hate betrayal. They hate betrayal, and that's why they did not vote Ruto because that Ruto was telling them good things or what. They voted Ruto because one guy had told them that we are going to give him kumi.
Kumi.
You remember?
Yeah,
they had said that we are going to kumi yangu kumi yako. That is the thing that Kikuyu hate. They hate betrayal. Already they know that the person they had given their votes, because Ruto was not elected alone. He was elected together with Rigathi Gachagua. That is called the presidency. So already he betrayed Gachagua. So Kikuyu people are seeing Ruto as a person who is coming to steal from them, and also a person who is even abusing them straight to their eyes. You're telling them that nyinyi hamuna maana kwangu. I crossed the bridge. And there's a video that he was talking. You know me, I never supported this character because I know him. There was a video he was talking about kama nyinyi mnadhani mko na shida kuliko sisi vile tuko na shida na Wakikuyu. You remember that clip?
There's a clip that was going around on media.
So it means that guy had something planned for us and it was not very good. And that's why you are hearing Gachagua is not wrong, but he's never wrong. If he's wrong, maybe I don't know, but he's never wrong. He talked about Bomas of Kenya, brother. If you go to Bomas of Kenya today, you will not be allowed access there. It was sold, brother. They are doing innovations. Me, I have somebody who went there just a few weeks ago. He's not trying to lie to you anything. He talked about this guy working the housing program, somebody working with Ruto to build the housing program, this Indian guy. What did you see in the finance bill? They want to lower the price of steel.
Yeah.
Because of what? They are dealing with that guy. That guy is the one who is bringing business to them. But they know the price of the steel is expensive, so they want to deal with him in a proper manner. And this guy, even if you do what, Mount Kenya, even if he comes with what, even if he says, I was telling another guy, we were laughing with another guy, I was telling him, leave now mentioning the roads, even if he come and mention churches one by name, there is no vote he's going to get in Mount Kenya.
Okay.
Even if he mentions the chiefs by name.
You remind me of what I quote the former president, deputy president. He said that he knew all the roads by their name, and like what Wakikuyu walikuwa nasema watu anazijua sana. So that one is not going to play any impact
for Mount Kenya. We are not taken by cheap things. You saw Uhuru what he did for Uhuru. What did he do for the Mount Kenya people? You know, Uhuru did so many projects for the Mount Kenya people as he was leaving. He did for them that road. You know, he did for them even a dam. He did for them 2 dams. He did the Karimenu one, and he did the one in Kirinyaga. The what do we call it? I forget the name. The one in Kirinyaga, Dhiba Dam. He did the 2 dams. Those dams now is when Kikuyu, after they see the things are going worse, is when now they are saying this dam was Uhuru's project. That time they were telling him we don't eat roads. You remember they were telling him we don't eat roads?
Yeah, I can't remember.
And they were telling Maliza Uende.
But
so there's no impact Ruto will bring, even if he comes there with this big truck which is called Momo. This one with 10 wheels with a load of cash. There's nothing he will do.
Okay, thank you so much. Miguda, there's something that I want to know from you, especially when it comes to the there was a time, especially in Uhuru administration, whereby you cannot go to the bank and withdraw more than $1 million without giving uh, a reason why. But now, when you come to the bottom-up empowerment that is being done by the deputy president, we find that there's a lot of money that is being given out. Or does it mean that the law only restrict a few people, or the law is not in existence?
The law is inexistent, and it is not for the majority and only applicable for the few people. It is there actually because, you know, the reason why it was put into place, it's to ensure that it regulates, you know, because the issue of money laundering sometimes can bring economy to its knees. That is why you must regulate it when you are operating under bank. But what you must understand also, the too much money you're talking about is cash. The corrupt money is always in the form of cash. And what they're doing is they are doing money laundering. They're trying to put it back as not a corrupt money, as not a money which is not corrupt. So what they are doing with the issue of, like my brothers told you, the issue of, I don't want to get deep into it, you understand, or the what's happening between Rajesh, Devki, Ade, those things. There's a lot of going on, but what is important for the viewers is that the corrupt money is in form of cash. So you move with it, and you try to, with the so-called wash. Maybe you can put it to a certain project, so but it come back in form into the bank system, like maybe some you. So it come back as not the corrupt money, but the source is well known that it is a corrupt money, and it is in form of cash. That's why it's moving like empowerment. How sure are you that this money is going to come back to certain account through other sources? That's let me just leave it there, because it's a corruption thing. I don't want to talk about corruption into details. You understand what we
Okay,
are dealing with.
and before we wind up, you know, I was just listening to one of the interviews with another lady. Actually, the video now is going viral. She was talking about we can give out money, yet when you go to Kenyatta National Hospital, the radiotherapy machine is not working. And we can afford to have those money to empower young people, you know, the bottom-up empowerment. And that is what she was talking about. And you know, sometimes it makes sense, you know, when you start to have like a candid conversation about some issues, especially when it comes to the leadership. And you know, all this boils out to the presidency at the end of the day, because you're the father of the nation. You know, when things go wrong in a home or anywhere, you have to take full responsibility of everything that are happening. Hey, Makobura, how are you doing, sir?
Yes,
Gibson,
good evening. Good
Gibson has,
evening. I'm doing
Gibson has just asked about you here on the comment section.
okay. I've been having a problem with the power,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, so that's the problem I've been having. But I'm good. I'm doing good.
Did you manage to get your power back or no?
Yeah, it's back, but it's not very stable.
Okay.
So that's the challenge. Yeah.
What is the expert doing? Any information from the expert in the energy sector?
That's why I keep on saying that I'm not just going to be a sycophant. I'm not just going to follow someone because I've been told to follow them. I'm going to make a decision based on what I'm experiencing on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms, what we do go through on a daily basis.
Yeah.
We have a responsibility of ensuring that we get the services at the right time. They have a responsibility to ensure that, things like power, and remember, while staying within Nairobi, and you can't have power. That's a serious thing. And
Is
that is
it,
why
it has been running for how many days right now?
as from yesterday, it's just as from yesterday around. Remember, it even logged me out of the studio yesterday. So it's just now, and so unfortunate. Yes, let me say hi to Gypsy Corner. You said alikuwa ananiulizia. Nimesema hi over here. Thank you so much for asking about me. Allow me to also say hi to our good friend Joseph Kariuki. We thank him for finding time to always be with us. Yeah, so maybe I have been off. So maybe if you have some questions on maybe what you want me to give my opinion, I can.
You know, we've been having a conversation, especially what really. I know there's so many things that has happened in the news, or those are trending right now, and we were so much focused about. Let me just bring you to speed about the one that we've discussed about. When you look at what happened to the deputy president yesterday, when he was in Nyeri, especially Othaya, where there are few Kenyans who heckled him, and in the process, they're even saying one term. And what does that one tell you about the ground and the space of the deputy president, especially when you look at the history of Mount Kenya, bringing in the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua and the DCP party that was launched like the other day.
Okay, thank you. First, what I've always said is that I think the government of William Samoei Ruto, they made a mistake sending home Rigathi Gachagua. And I'm quite sure that this is a gentleman that he toured with the whole country while they were doing campaigns. And I'm sure that he understood, he knew the kind of a person Rigathi Gachagua was. And, relieving him, or giving him a chance, or letting him free to be idle, of course, was not going to go well with him on matters of politics. And that is why we are seeing, as we've seen a situation where Rigathi Gachagua has used the opportunity, to penetrate the Mount Kenya region, and he has convinced the people of that region that the government that they voted for is not really representing their views, is not really interested in, delivering to them, and is giving them the reasons. And again, based on the fact that he was impeached, and people are aware, I mean, all the issues that he was being accused of, he has come out and clearly clarified one by one. And according to his statement, he's saying that all those are lame accusations. And one thing that has made him to penetrate or to be accepted by the Mount Kenya region is that he has clarified the beef. He has clarified clearly the reasons why, and he has given reasons. He's given facts according to him on the reasons why he thinks that the president is not the good person that they should support. So remember the current deputy president, Professor Kindiki, was not on the ballot with the president. And so we understand that presidency, of course, it's a pair of the deputy and the president. And remember, Rigathi Gachagua underwent that whole process, but Kindiki did not. So it is not easy for people also in that region to accept an appointee of the president, whom, in his own words, has always said that he's a yes sir person and is there not to criticize, but to do as per the instructions given to him. And as a leader, that is not a good kind of choice of word to be used, because a leader needs to have a stand. A leader is someone that when issues are brought before you, when matters are brought before you, you need to reason. You need to look at all those things that have been brought before you and make decisions based on, what you think. It is not that people decide and then you just sign and approve. No. So that is what has made Kindiki not to be accepted on the ground. And again, the fact that he's appearing to not liking or giving opportunity to people having divergent opinion. That is why you are seeing that in other parts of the country, when he goes to those places, like in Nyeri, it was, the issue or the slogan of one term was highly sung over there. And they're saying that they are not happy with, of course, how their son was impeached. They are not happy with how the government is delivering to them. And they're also not happy on the fact that this government lied to them. There were matters, there were so many promises that they were given, but up to date, they are not. More of what they've seen, of course, is impeachment. More of what they've seen is chest thumping from those leaders closer to the president, the likes of Ichungwa, who is the majority leader. And, these are some of the issues or matters that has made it tough for Professor Kindiki to get to the mountain.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. And let me engage Karaoke. And I want to engage you, especially on a universal conversation that everybody should be having, especially when you look at an entire country. And you find that, especially like right now, one of the biggest issues that we are dealing with, especially when it comes to our election, are what we call the transactional politics. That is one of them. Secondly, is about the regionalism that we've always been talking about, the issue of kingpinship and the issue of presidency. Kariki, do you think as a country we will reach a point whereby we will elect a person without too much transaction? Because the other day I was watching the people of Tanzania, especially those who are supporting Chadema, they were contributing money to one of the leaders. Do you think we can reach that point whereby this just one thing that is driving us as a nation, that we say that this is what we want to deal with, and once and for all?
I would like also to greet my brother there. I hope he has been doing fine.
Yes.
In the terms of financing of elections, there is no day that we are going to go back, because you have said that there is a word you used about it's like funding. It's like funding for the elections. We are not going to go back, because these thugs, they made us rich here. They stole money. They came and did campaigns. So already, for you to be in a race, for maybe, let's say, the presidency, you are a candidate for the presidency, you need to have a lot of money. If an MP is doing a campaign for more than 100 million, what will a president be doing? He'll be doing a campaign for more than 1 billion, because you need posters, you need people to organize people, you need agents, the ones that Raila refused to hire. You need so many things. So for us, we are not going to ever go back to where you see like Tanzania, they are funding their own candidate. The people are funding their own candidate. So in Kenya, it will never go to that place, because these thugs, they have brought us to that point.
Let's talk about the political logistics of politics, and logistic of political, would I say that, political process. That's something that we have to agree that we need to have, especially some funds to make us move, especially during our rallies. We've talked of posters and all that. But there's this transactional politics whereby I know, Mr. Karaoke, you are very influential in your region. But because sometimes our ideology do not match, then I will have to use some money to buy you. That is what I'm talking about. Do you think, as a country, we will deal with that?
Sorry. I had lost you. Sorry. So yes, we can move that. We can move beyond that. We are an example. Mount Kenya is an example that I'd shown you. We have shown you that we can elect leaders, even if you have popularity. We can make you go home. And I'm telling you, in 2027, the MPs that you're saying they are influential, even that Ikimani Ichungwa, you will not see them in that parliament.
Yeah.
This I don't know if it is translating to other tribes, but me, I know in my tribe, in my area, in Mount Kenya. You can check the data. The data is there. Look how many MPs came back in the 13th Parliament. This is the 14th. We're in the 14th or the 13th. We're in the 13th Parliament.
This is the 13th Parliament.
Check the 12th Parliament. How many people came back to the 13th Parliament? How many people? Go and check. You have a handful of people who came back. Do you remember Kindiki?
Actually, when you look at it, in all the regions, I think Mount Kenya had new members of parliament that compared to other regions that came back, because the big names really were dropped.
You remember Akina Kindiki?
When
Sabina Chege?
Actually, Chege,
those all guys, they were chased.
Sabina Chege might have realized early enough that because it was with Azimio and the ground was not receptive to Azimio, so she decided not to run.
That's why, brother Benson, I need you to educate your people from your region, man. These guys, you have been recycling leaders on top. They are, all the time you are bringing these old guys. Even you are calling them youth league guys. And he's a youth leader. Brother, you need to educate your guys, man. You are recycling an old man. You are calling him a youth leader.
So you know,
he's a senator.
When it comes to media is one of the very difficult thing to be, because like media requires you as a professional to be very neutral. Like, you don't need to, that's another thing with media. I know that there's some media houses that sometimes tend to align themselves to a certain factions, and but as a personality in the media, your role is to educate and make the people make a decision, point out those bad things that a leader is doing and both the good things. So at the end of the day, the people of that country should make informed decision based on the information that you've given them.
Brother, and you have stated the one thing that is also a problem in what you are saying. The media.
Yeah.
The media is a big problem, because the media you will find a media is selling one candidate over the other. So you find the one candidate has so much airplay than the other one, because he has power. He has power to, like for example, some media stations, and who owns them and how they deal with their things. So media also is a letdown, because media in Kenya is not neutral. Let me tell you the truth. Media in Kenya is not neutral. And that's why you see the government replay with their minds. You see, even BBC is the one who came to show us about the Gen-Z death. Because they cannot, they're already in the pockets. If you go and look at this guy is called for Citizen or media. He was called to State House. If you are called to State House, you tell your guys, stop beating, stop this one. Don't be too much hard on the government. But before that, when he was supporting Raila, you could see even Sifuna was being called, the day that Sifuna was called and told that nobody can debate Sifuna. You remember people saying nobody can debate Sifuna? They all ran away. So this thing is always choreographed by these people who have money and they have power. So not everywhere. I'm seeing people are getting enlightened. People are looking at the MPs. First of all, MPs. So much MPs. I know they are looking at the MP. Not even MPs. MCS. You see another guy called is always wearing this yellow jacket from Bomet. Who do we call him? Professor. You know Professor? Sorry for naming names here. But you know Professor.
The one, a content creator?
Yeah, the one who is exposing governor in Bomet.
Yeah, I know him. I usually follow his channel. That is his channel name.
So that is what people should be doing, exposing these guys. Because if we don't expose them, brother, there is people who are still illiterate in Kenya. The old people, they are still illiterate. We need to tell them what is happening. That's why I try to educate people even in finance bill. I try to educate people in BBI, because me, I knew BBI was good, but some people came with bad fallacies, not good. But I try to educate people.
Tomorrow, I don't know, at around 6:30 to around 7:30, I don't know whether you will be available so that we can go about the finance bill, because it's something that we need to talk about, because it will affect everybody. So I will look if we have time. I was still looking for a certified copy or any copy of finance. I don't have it. I've tried to ask my friends to
It is in Google, Brother Benson. It is in Google. They have already published it. It is there.
Oh,
You can check in Google. You
okay,
can download it.
so we will download it in the Google and maybe go through it and see what are the areas that are going to affect us as people who will be paying taxes, and what are the benefit of the finance bill that is coming 2020 and to 2026, and what are the areas that the gray areas that maybe if the government should change for the sake of the people of Kenya. Makobura, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Yeah. Okay. I want to ask you because you're the other day you were both in Homa Bay and in Kisumu, and you might have interacted with a lot of Kenyans, especially to get their views. Today, the senator, the governor, His Excellency James Orengo, led a delegation to meet the president. As you know, Orengo has been one person that has been criticizing the broad-based government. With that move, what is your take on it, and based on what people are telling you on the ground?
Okay, yeah, thank you. First, what we are seeing in Luo Nyanza, for example, we are seeing a movement where majority of elected leaders are becoming, of course, they're always they do follow ODM without having any other thing in mind. And that is why we've always seen that when Raila goes, whichever direction he decides to move, is these members of parliament will always follow. But I think this time around it was somehow different because you remember Raila has lost election for quite long, and people expected him that this time around he was going to exit the politics, the national politics. And again, if you remember the AU thing, the AU, people believed that once he went for the AU, at least there was going to be an environment for them to make their own decision and decide for themselves. But we are seeing a situation where Raila is back and is fully back, and he still wants to become relevant in the politics of the area. And that is why.
Are you leaving, Mr. Joseph?
No, I'm here, brother.
Okay.
I'm here.
Oh, Makomura.
Yes.
Let's continue. Let me fix up something here.
Okay, yeah. So what I was saying is that Raila is fully back in that area, and he still has a lot of influence. And those people who are expecting that once, for example, he leaves for the AU, they'll get an environment for them to start chatting their own way. They are now starting to rethink. And of course, quite a number of leaders also starting to strategize and to, take positions on who was going to pick up from Raila in terms of leading the region. And quite a number of leaders, the likes of course, the governor of Siaya, James Orengo, the likes of Babu Owino, among others, had decided that they wanted that position and they wanted to carry on with the leadership of Raila Amolo Odinga. But now that Raila is back, they've gotten themselves in a point where it is tough for them to make the decisions. And that is why we are seeing Orengo having problems. He needed to have a specific stand. Remember, the people of that region, of course, most of the time they've not been on the side of government, and they've always criticized a regime that is oppressive, a regime that is not respecting the constitution, a regime that is not doing development for the people. So being that Orengo had the stand for quite some time, and now Baba was back, he had no option but to reform, to come back and still follow the rulings or the directions of Raila Amolo Odinga. Yeah, we saw him today leading a delegation from Siaya County. Of course, after the pressure from the leaders, both starting from Raila, of course, and his brother, the senator of Siaya County, with quite a number of leaders from that region. You remember they had even problems with the cabinet secretary, Opiyo Wandayi, who had called out on James Orengo, criticizing his position and his stand when it comes to the criticizing the government. So, of course, he has been threatened not once, several times that he was going to be impeached, and that is there were many possibilities of him coming back as the governor. And being that he's a leader of that region and everyone has followed back and are now listening to Raila, I think he had no option but to just come back. But of course, even if you followed that, what was happening at the State House, he was not as jovial as he has always been, the way he's known. So that clearly tells you that in matters of politics, and especially those within ODM, it is not easy for them to make the decisions, but most of time they are forced in many instances to make decisions whether they want or not. And that is what I can say about what was happening in at the State House. Maybe Joseph, maybe you can also give us your take.
Brother, I need to ask you one question. Has Governor Orengo done any development in his county?
In terms of development, of course, he's done quite a number. But truth be told, the president has been going to Homa Bay and Kisumu specifically, sana in the Luo Nyanza region. And so, whenever he comes to Kisumu, he's given them quite a number of developments, of course, supported with the national government. When we go to Homa Bay, of course, the president has also done quite a lot in terms of development and, of course, with the assistance of the national government. And these are developments that I can say they're like big developments. And so there has been this narrative in Luo Nyanza that why is it that only two counties, that is Kisumu and Homa Bay, are the ones that are receiving developments from the national government. I mean, they call those projects as big projects. But you find that in Siaya, for example, they're not getting any assistance from the national government. Since broad-based started, we've not seen the president going to Siaya, and there is no any project that is being done in partnership with the county government, in partnership with the national government. And when I attended the last Madaraka, I met quite a number of people coming from Siaya, of course, and they were saying that it is so unfortunate that they've not seen the president while they were working in Homa Bay and seeing the developments which were done within 3 months. They were saying that it is not fair. And if, for example, the president was really genuine and he wanted support from the Luo Nyanza, then he needed to visit the two counties, that is Siaya County, to do, of course, in partnership with the national and county government, do quite a number of projects, big projects over there for them to also feel that they are loved or they are they are represented in terms of development. So that is what we are expecting to see in Siaya as per the conversation as per the press that the president gave, that is going to build around 16 markets in Siaya County, is going to connect around 6,000 homes with electricity, and that is going to build, there's a port there is going to build, and also constructions of roads and TVETs in every constituency. Maybe after he finishes with Siaya, we might also see him in Migori, because the people of Migori also had the same. They were also saying that only the people of Kisumu County and the people of Homa Bay are the ones that are receiving goodies from the president, but the two counties were not really receiving anything. That is the answer that I can give. Allow me, maybe before you come in, to also say a big thank you to Nyeri at the comment section. Thank you so much, Nyeri. And to everyone who is watching, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're watching for the first time, we request you, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us and we'll really, really appreciate. Mr. Kariuki, what is your other question?
I want to comment on what you have said. For development, I want to be happy for you guys that you're receiving the development that you're receiving now. But don't forget about this guy. He might start all those things that he's starting there. Then he does to you what he did to us. Because this guy is a double dealer. So he can bring for you all those developments and start all those things, the markets, the roads, the stadiums, everything. But after he gets a second term, if you're going to give him from the people from Nyanza region, he forgets about you. Because the question is, if a community gave you 4.5 million votes and they propelled you to become the president, and you have started harassing them like this, what do you think you can give to him that can make him happy? If the 4.5 million votes were not, he was not happy about them. What else can make him happy that he's going to stick to the plans that he gave to you? Because also us, he came and gave us the same developments when he was, when you want to catch a thief, or you even leave a thief, if you want to catch a rat, you always bring some goodies and put them in the trap. You cannot only keep the trap there. You need to put for it some meat or something which is smelling nice, so that you can be able to capture the rat. So I think this is what he's doing also to your region. It's good. He's going to bring developments, but you need also to pressure him that those developments, he does not come only to lay foundations. We are used to him in laying foundation only. Then after he lays the foundation, the trucks that were the trucks and the things that were there, that were making that were building maybe the roads and what, he lives together with them. So you should be very careful, because once a con man is always a con man. So another thing I wanted to ask you, uh, how do you see Nyanza region as we head to the 2027 election? Because Nyanza region is not only the Luo votes that only come from there. We have the Kisii votes. So how are you seeing it?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so of course, Nyanza, we've got the 4 Luo Nyanza counties, that is Kisumu County, Siaya County, Mabei County, Migori County, and we also have Kisii County and Nyamira County. They all fall under the Nyanza province. What I can say is that we've always seen a union between let me say, the Luo community and the Kisii community, being that they're coming from the Nyanza region. And we've always seen them, do politics, or I can say that we've always seen them vote together. But this time round, I think it might be slightly different, because we are seeing a situation where the Kisii community are coming together and they're saying that they want to support one of their own. And that one of their own, of course, is a conversation that people of Kenya are having, and they're speaking about him. And of course, remember, majority of them did not vote for the current president. And so they also feel that the president has not done them justice in terms of development. And now that they have their own, Stan, who is also eyeing this seat, they are coming together in unison to support, of course, Dr. Fred Matiang'i. And if we go to Lowland, we are still seeing a restless community. They're restless in this sense. Leaders who are trying to come out to criticize the union that we saw between the president and the ODM, that is the broad-based, they are finding it a little bit tough, because remember, Luo Nyanza has been controlled by Raila Amolo Odinga for quite long. And, whenever politicians are coming to have a divergent opinion, they are always labeled as traitors, or they're always labeled as, people who are not having uh, good intentions for the community. And again, if you can remember, most of the mandamanos, they've been done in the Luo region, or part of it, those that have been done outside the Luo Nyanza. Of course, majority have been led by the Luos. So there was this narrative in Luo land that it is not good for them to to be always fighting, or on the forefront, fighting for justice for the people of Kenya. But when it comes to development, they're not receiving any development. And according to what I was hearing on ground, is that is part of the reason why they entered the broad-based. And again, what I add is that they entered broad-based because this time round, from their leaders, they're saying that they're not going to lead mandamanos, and they're not going to be in the forefront fighting for the justice of the people of Kenya. But when it comes to distribution of resources, they are left behind. And I can also tell you that one thing that was there is that, of course, partly it is true that in terms of development, Luo Nyanza have not been receiving quite, their share, as they say, being that Raila has been on the opposition side. Unless he gets into government, or unless he gets into handshake, that is when we've seen developments. But when he maintains being in opposition, there's minimal that is always been done. So currently it is tough, because there is a group of people from Luo region, of course, who are not supporting the broad-based. And that, of course, you've always seen the stance of James Orengo. Remember, James Orengo are the people, the founder members of ODM, and they are the closest ally to Raila Amolo Odinga. And if you saw a situation where he was having his own opinion and coming out to tell the people that, this is not the right government that we should get into. According to him, he was saying that this is a rotten government, and that we cannot get into this government to salvage what is, already rotten. And of course, Raila, through his close allies, was saying that we are tired of going to the street. We are tired of going for demonstration. Let us support this government so that we can get some developments in return. So there are two, like I've said, quite a number of people supporting the broad-based. Of course, being that they are fanatical. There is a group of fanatical supporters of Raila Amolo Odinga that whichever direction Raila goes, they will always go. But again, there's also a group of people who are somehow exposed, and they've interacted. They know what leadership is all about. They would know what they want. That group of people are saying that it is not good for them to enter into broad-based, and it is not good to them to continue supporting the president, and especially in his re-election, because according to them, they're saying that the president is not worthy, and they're giving they've always given their reasons. Part of the reasons is that they're saying that if he was supported by a certain community and he left them, if he had a deputy president and he impeached him without clear reasons, and many others. Now, on the case of Kisii County and Nyamira County, of course, them so far they are united. And you remember some few days ago, Gloria Oroba, who is the senator, was also removed from the from the position of nominated senator, just because he had interacted with someone from his region who is also eyeing for the position of presidency. So I think that clarifies the fact that they are together and they're working together in that. They are working together to ensure that they present their own presidential candidate. But I can also assure you that, of course, Matiang'i would get quite a number of support in Luo Nyanza, and especially this group of people who feels that the president, this is not a good government for them to enter. This is not, according to these people were saying that this is a rotten government and we have nothing to salvage. Yeah, so it is a 50-50 thing still, I can say. Unless
You have any questions for me to answer in the, regarding the mountain? Because me, I come from there, I can answer some questions.
yeah, of course. One thing that I've wanted to hear or to get to understand is the fact that we are seeing quite a number of leaders, especially those people who had, you remember during the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, there are these leaders, the likes of Kimani Ichungwa, who stood firm, the likes of Rigathi Gachagua, who stood firm and said that they were not going to support Raila Amolo Odinga, and they managed to convince the entire Mount Kenya region to an extent that we saw them voting together for the President William Samoei Ruto. My question to you is this: now that they are divided, the list that I've given you, the likes of Kimani Ichungwa on the other side, the likes of Rigathi Gachagua on the other side, how are they now? I mean, how are they going to convince the people of Mount Kenya, for example, those who are in the side of Kimani Ichungwa, that they formed this government, they are still in this government, they are still controlling this government? How is Rigathi Gachagua going to convince, the people of Mount Kenya not to follow the likes of Kimani Ichungwa, being that the likes of Kimani Ichungwa are still holding quite, big positions in this government? There are quite a number of influential cabinet secretaries, quite a number coming from the Mount Kenya region, and some of them have their own political parties, and they're the part of the group that stood, of course, with the president. And again, some of them were on the other side of Azimio, and they are now part of the cabinet secretaries. Are you not seeing that this is going to be a challenge? Maybe you can give me your take on that. And then those are those who are then on the other side of Gachagua. And remember, majority of them are still newcomers or young politicians. Of course, we are seeing them starting to manage in convincing the people. I mean, are we going to see a 50-50, a 50-50 people whereby the 50 will go to Gachagua, the 50 will go to this other side of those who are in government? Or we are going to see a situation where, for example, Gachagua are going to take more than 50, or Ruto is going to take more than 50? Maybe your take.
A very good question. Thank you. My take is Mount Kenya is very unique. Mount Kenya is not like other regions, and I had spoken about that a while ago before you had come to the studio. I had said that Mount Kenya does not follow the leaders. The leaders are the ones who follow Mount Kenya, the Mount Kenya people. And we have been shown this by example. It has been shown through Uhuru Kenyatta. The people are the ones who told him, we need you to vie for the presidency and we are going to support you. We have seen it through, before even Rigathi Gachagua had left the government, the people of the mountain had already started departing from this government. So for that question about Kimani Ichungwa, there is nothing that is savaging and the team. There is nothing that they are going to savage. All those guys that are there in the government, all of them, those Akina Kabogo and the likes, you will not be hearing about them, because even if they try to get into elections and try to vie for seats, they can never get the seats. That one I'm talking with full knowledge of what I'm saying, that those guys are not going to come back to parliament, and some of them Ruto will cut them loose, because also we are seeing is like Ruto want to cut Kithure Kindiki loose. So even we don't know if Kithure Kindiki will become his deputy. So we cannot come here and state that that they will be part of the government, and they'll come and tell us so they are still part of the government, even if this guy will be cut through. So Mount Kenya politics is done and dusted. Ruto is not going to be voted in Mount Kenya because the things that he has brought, not only to Gachagua impeachment, there is things that that the Kikuyu people are feeling that, and the Mount Kenya people are feeling that they are targeting him. So what I think Ruto might do, because he knows in the Kikuyu, because the Kikuyu they always say they're in the Mount Kenya West. I think he's going to pit them against the Mount Kenya East, but that one he has tried and it is not working. He has tried it because Embu is in Mount Kenya East. He has been trying to pit them against this other Mount Kenya West, Muranga, Nyeri, and Kiambu, but it has not worked successfully. They are trying now to buy musicians, but also the musicians, after they get the money, they are going back and saying it's still one term. So I don't think there is any escape route for Ruto in Mount Kenya. He's going to be crushed down in Mount Kenya. So if you want to know that the Kikuyu are going to crush Ruto, you need to go to the entrance. They call it the gateway to Mount Kenya, and the gateway to Mount Kenya is always in Githurai. I think you saw Githurai, and that is where the chorus started for one term. So Ruto in Mount Kenya is done and dusted. He might get some votes, but I assure you, him getting more than 10% in Mount Kenya, it will be an uphill task for him. You saw they had told Baba that we have bought for you shoes to be able to climb the mountain. Baba, even the shoes that he was bought for by Sabina Chege, I don't think even he was able to reach at the foot of Mount Kenya. So for the politics of Mount Kenya, that one is done and dusted. The only play we are looking at is from our cousin brothers in Nakamba. Those are the ones I think their votes. We are not sure, but we know that they support Kalonzo so much. And I also saw Matiang'i is talking in Gilu. If we can bring them all on board, I think also the Kamba votes will be in the basket. So for Mount Kenya, Mount Kenya, there is Mount Kenya, this Kiambu, Nyeri, Muranga, Embu, Meru, Tharaka, but we are forgetting about the diaspora, where the Kikuyu and the Gema communities are, like Nakuru and Naivasha. I think Nakuru and Naivasha it will be 50-50 because those guys they are still they live in a community where they are always afraid not to repeat the 2007 post-election violence. So they tread carefully. But what I know, the people from Mount Kenya, that is a done deal. They are not following Ruto, and they have spoken to their leader Gachagua. They have told him we are going to this direction. So even today, if Gachagua decides to go to Ruto, I think he'll go it alone because I don't know anybody will go with him. So those are the politics of Mount Kenya, and Mount Kenya is very unique. When they talk one word, they have already spoken. Even if you try to come and tell them we change this, we change that you are enticing them with the government, they will not follow. Even if Ruto comes and builds 10,000 roads in Mount Kenya, that will not salvage him anything. They refuse to listen to their son, who was a Kikuyu like them. How will you tell me that Ruto will come and convince them and is not even from our region? That's my take on that.
Okay, thank you so much, Joseph. I would like to continue with the conversation, lakini I'm still not having a very stable power, so I'll give you a chance to maybe give your final remarks. Before you do so, allow me to read this comment from Jepsai Corner saying, I thought Nyanza might be split because of Fred Matiang'i. Ruto might also win due to the smart conversing and popularity contest. Not many know Fred Matiang'i. Of course, Matiang'i comes from Nyanza, yes, but just like I'd said, Nyanza, the Kisii community camps, they occupy 2 counties, that is Kisii County and Nyamira County. And Matiang'i is, I can't really say that he's not really known. Matiang'i is known, and especially the people who are going to vote, maybe their second time that they are voting, or their first time that they are voting, I'm quite sure that these are people who are interacted with Matiang'i. They know Fred Matiang'i. I think, those who did their KCSE in 2016, 2017, 2018, I'm quite sure that they are voting for the first time. And those are the majority. I was also my Gen Z. So they really know what Matiang'i did to them during their reign, and especially the 2016, 2017, 2018. And remember, part of this group are voting for the first time. Some of them are voting for the second time. And, I think he's known. It is not that he's not known, because, matters to do with KCSE, for example, it was something that was done throughout the country. And I can tell you that in 2016, 2017, 2018, the kind of KCSE that people did, they had to know who was really in charge of the education sector. And I can tell you that he's a man who is known, especially with the young people. And he has he just needs some few introduction to the people, but already is a known person. That is what I can say.
Maybe before Joseph comes in, when you look at the 2027 general election, there are so many pointers that will drive people to the ballot box, because there are those who are not satisfied, or those who are not happy with how the government has carried itself in terms of things to do with the taxes. That is the major big issue. That is one, and this one include mostly the working class. You talk about I usually call them the economic class, and this is where you find the majority people who are employed, who maybe are earning between 15,000 to around maybe 30 to around 40 to 70, maybe even to 100,000. That is the larger the workforce that is there, or the employment class. So if you look at how
Brother Benson, they are called the middle class.
The middle class. Yeah, we call it so. So the middle class. So the middle class will be the majority determinant, especially when it comes to election, because this is what even happened in France. When you remember the Yellow Jacket movement, the Yellow Jacket movement was it was affecting the middle class, and the people who came out in large numbers. So I think that will be a replica, especially in Kenya. That is one, the middle class in terms of taxes. That is one. Then there's also a group of people, or the group of population of Kenya, that despite all that, despite the middle class and all the taxes, that those who are not driven by the administration, on how the administration has carried out itself, so there's that. Then there's also a group of people that will be divided on the broad-based government. And the broad-based government, if you look at the broad-based government on how now it is, you might look at it this way, and people might feel that the broad-based government is only working for a particular region. And even if you listen to President William Ruto, he was talking about on how the economy has grown. He was talking of he was talking of January we were at 1%, but ever since he was talking about the broad-based came into being, that the economy has gone up to around 8%, or the economy is doing well and the economy is growing. But when the economy is growing, are you feeling it as the commoners? So those are the determinants, apart from now the normal pointers that we usually have, like the tribe, the tribal card, and what again, and the issue of the presidency working together with the government. So the middle class will be the determinant, especially when it comes to taxes. That is what I think. I might be wrong.
Brother, you have come very strong, and I've liked your argument.
Yeah.
In 2027, there is a lot of variants which are there in place. It's like the way we had the COVID, you are hearing there is variants 1, 2, you are hearing there is some so many things that are happening. That is what will happen in 2027 election. There is so many things that are moving. There is so many wheels that are moving within the 2027 election. You have talked about the middle class. It is already finished. If there is a group which is finished totally, is the middle class. In Kenya, is either you are rich or you are poor. The other second pass people is the civil servants. You forgot to mention them. The people who have been cut their taxes to build this affordable housing, to pay for this other bullshit, and they have been added also their pay as you want, NSSF. All these things have been added. So they say there is around how many civil servants? They always say there is around 3 million to 4 million. Those guys, they don't go to vote. But I'm telling you, you see the day of voting, because they have been touched, you are going to see them. So it's so many moving parts, but there is some regions which are also going to vote with tribalism.
Yeah,
like I know Nyanza, I know they are going to vote for Ruto because Raila will tell them, and because they want to punish the Kikuyu people. I know that one will be given.
Those are now we are coming in and bringing that issues to do with the emotion-driven voting, whereby people are not voting based on the ideology or what other candidate has put on the table, but they're based on the political emotion that has been driven by the politicians, that we are this way because of so and so, or this is the reason for us to be in this status, you know. So those are some of the things also that will determine. So 2027 is going to be a very interesting year, and not forgetting about the Gen Z. You know, one thing that I usually say that the Gen Z, that came a movement, you know, as a waking up even the political class, you know, because you realize in the history of Kenya, the only person that we have to agree with, the only person, this is something that we have to agree, the only person that would call for protest and be successful is the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And nobody thought that there is somebody other than that would call protest. And that is the reason why even President Uhuru Kenyatta worked with Raila. And he said that, okay, the best way for me to govern is let me bring Raila closer to me. If I bring it closer, so which means things to do with calling protest. Because like if people protest for a week, especially when you look at Nairobi or any other country, and without collection of revenue, you know how much the government is losing on the protesting day. Let's say it go for a week, you know, that one can cripple economy. Yeah. And that's why like Uhuru Kenyatta say, okay, come together and let's work, because so provided you've contained the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, so the things will work as usual. And if you even remember the campaign of President William Ruto, mambo ya handshake alisema hakuna, unajua, na he said that this government, we will run it without handshake, you know, those others. But now when the Gen Z came, and the Gen Z did something also that about the protest, and remember their protest was very peaceful. Yeah, it was only people carrying flag, vitamba, all that. And when they realized, the political realized that, okay, this is what is going to happen, so they had to come together very quickly. Yeah, and merge together. And now, how can we solve this? That is one. Another thing that Gen Z also made it very difficult for now the politicians to keep them thinking is about the engagement. You know, back in the days, there was a group of people, even including the millennials, that they say siasa mbaya maisha mbaya, so wachana wanasiasa wapige, at the end of the day our lives will move on. But they came to realize that, oh, we have to be part and parcel of it. And how do we be part of the part and parcel? When we come on the street and lay demand, things work. President Ruto dissolved the parliament, the cabinet, even though he reappointed some of them. Again, President William Ruto had to abandon the finance bill. So they realized, and from the time they went on the street, and the activism and the political participation in the internet has taken the center stage, there's so many things that have really changed. So that is also something that still the leaders themselves, they cannot know on how to handle, especially this generation. That is what I think.
And brother Benson, there is one thing you have forgotten to mention. You have forgotten to mention the church.
Yes, the church too. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let me just mention something about the church. And if you're very keen, yesterday I was talking about the 5 pillars under which President William Ruto became president. I talked about the church. Yeah. President Ruto in 2022, he came through the church as he was the saved man. He was like the prodigal son of our politics, the person that was going to come to save our political leadership. And it resonated well with the majority of people. And they say that now our country is going to be led under the Christhood, or the salvation is part of that. And remembering very well that the pair themselves, two of them were very, very big sayers, especially in the church. If you look at the life of Mama Rachel, and also you look at the life of the Mama Boys. These are women of God who have been having crusades and that. And always people say that the mothers are the controllers. When the mothers are having God, then everything is going to be okay. And that one played a crucial role. That was one pillar in which President William Ruto came into the government. But does it still have that constituency? No. I doubt that. The second pillar, again, that President Ruto came into the power was about the sympathy, based on how he was treated with the Uhuru Kenyatta government during the BBI government. That is the handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. There's so many things that he underwent, and that sympathy gave him vote. Does he still enjoy that sympathy? I still don't know. Then there's also a tribe that he created that has never been there, the tribe of Asla Nation, and that is what he ride on. The haves and the have not, that in serikali tutaiform na mama mboga. And you can remember all the theatrics that were there. You could eat mahindi on the road, they could eat chapati, they could drink tea, they could with the downtrodden people. And they believed, the people believe that this is the leadership that is going to care for us, especially the boda, the mama mboga, and all the people who are doing small scale businesses, including wachuuzi wadogo, and they voted overwhelmingly for the president. But the president still enjoys that constituency? That is a yes or a no. It depends on how you're looking at it. And the last one was about the international community. We have to agree, and that's why you saw the Megan Whitman, especially from the ambassador to US. I think when you look at the candidates who are running, I think when you look at the international community, or even the image of the president international wise, I think they favored him. But now when you look at internationally, there are so many things that have been mentioned, especially when you talk about the Sudan issue, the Congo issue, and all that. Does he still have that? So those are some of the things. So if he still enjoys them, then I don't know how he will still continue. So those are like some pillars that he got him to the presidency. Hello, Mr. Makobura. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is my take, and I'll need now to sign out, my friends. And I would say thank you so much for being in the show, and thank you so much, Joseph, for joining us in the conversation. I hope tomorrow, if you find time, anytime, if you go live, kindly join us as we have this conversation talking about the issues of Kenya. We are not going to limit ourselves to Mount Kenya, but we are going to limit ourselves in the conversation of an entire country. Today, we are focusing on Mount Kenya. Tomorrow, we'll be focusing on another region or another leader. Thank you so much, Mr. Makobura and Mr. Karaoke, for joining the show. And may God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.